What is going on, everybody? It is episode 277 of Pop Culture Crisis. My name's Brett. I'm here with my co-host. Would you introduce yourself, please?
Hello, Crisis Actors. It's Mary. We're back from the weekend. Brett is wearing a beanie. Everything is topsy-turvy today. I don't know if that's even allowed.
I'd have to check the bylaws, but I'm not sure.
You need to check the employee handbook real quick. Anyways, we've got one of our favorite guests in studio.
What do you mean one of?
Our only favorite guest in the studio.
There we go.
What's your name?
Hey everyone, Dane Font here, marketing man extraordinaire and the patron saint of White Boy Summer.
If I find out that that the beanie thing is actually not allowed, I'm going to be pissed.
I've already broken that rule, if that
That's
is
true.
a rule at all.
That's
so
true. That's a fair point. So, well, maybe it's maybe it's like a gendered rule here. Maybe just guys can't wear beanies.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
We'll find out.
So now that I can be worried the whole episode whether my beanie is allowed or not, we got a bunch of stuff to talk about today. Billie Eilish is famously she's a big time climate activist, but in this article that we have, it's kind of hilarious just how blatantly hypocritical she is, and really not all that worried about being hypocritical. In fact, if anything, she's saying, I'm a hypocrite and you're still a bad person. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about Lizzo. She's back in the news. Big topic today. She said basically that cancel culture was okay. It was a good thing when it was directed in certain places by certain people. Now it's not good because now it's been commandeered by people they consider to be bigots. And as we all know, everyone's a bigot to people like Lizzo, I feel like. So we're going to talk about that. We are going to talk about how would you describe Northwest, this topic?
She's dressing up as her father on TikTok, and Kim's mad about it.
Very Freudian.
It looks weird.
We're going to psychoanalyze it to death.
Okay, fair enough. And Dane, we've got one more. This one you found. What is it?
We got a tale of deception, theft, and betrayal.
Love that. That's our favorite. Those are like three of our favorite things.
I know, that's why I brought.
That was great.
We love when bad things happen.
Marketing man extraordinaire.
Look, guys. I don't like it when bad things happen. Mary likes it when bad things happen. But there are days, I will admit, there are days when we start the work week and I'm like, oh man, that is an awful story. I can't wait to talk about that. And then I feel ghoulish and kind of evil and creepy. So I have to take a shower afterwards.
I love when you say ghoulish.
Ghoulish? It's like goulash, but not. We got that. And then we got a bunch of other stuff that we're going to get into as well. So if you guys are ready, we can just get right into these first few things that I want to talk about. Are you ready, Mary?
I am ready.
Dane?
See.
All right. So before we get into Billie Eilish, I do want to address a couple of things first. So Avatar, as we know, just on Friday, I mentioned that it crossed $1.5 billion, but we're past that now. If you can see now, it's past 1.7 billion, which means that James Cameron is going to be forced to make the sequels, which seems like a really lame
He's acting
brag.
like he never announced it in the first place.
I don't know a single person outside of this room that's seen that movie.
It's still to me a weird psyop because I don't hear anyone talking about it. There's no buzz whatsoever.
Everyone has seen it. But nobody is talking about it. No one is posting anything on social media about it. It's all just critical.
No memes.
Actually, no, I did see a really good meme from Rad Dad. That's
Rad Dad?
Rad Dad. It's a really great Instagram account. It's the military looking guy with the sunglasses on. It says, when this dude's running the grill, you know the burgers and hot dogs are going to be fire.
Yeah, okay.
That was actually pretty good. But other than that, that was the only Avatar meme that I've seen at all in the entire length of this movie's release time. And it's been out for less than a month. So beyond that, guys, now that we know that Avatar is both a psyop and not a psyop, it's Schrodinger's movie, basically. Is it a psyop? Is it not? I have no idea. I have this story, which is really, really interesting. So in California, a newly elected congressman named Robert Garcia, he's a Democrat from California. Go figure, he's a Democrat from California. That's shocking. Shocking. He's not going to take his oath of office with his hand on the Bible. He's going to take his oath of office with his hand on a copy of Superman #1 from 1939.
That's your god?
Well, no.
Well, it's deceptive, right? Because the comic book you said is sitting over a Bible that's already there.
I looked into that. Now I'm saying that I'm not seeing Bible anywhere on there. I thought it said that he was that the comic was gonna be on top of the Bible. But
are you just allowed to swear on anything? Text?
Apparently on anything. It will also be on a copy of his mother and father who have passed away, and on his parents and his citizenship certificate.
Way to make a normal process about your weird taste.
No. It's actually kind of. I mean, I get what you're saying, but it's kind of personal. He said that he learned to read and write English by reading Superman comics, so it's relevant to him. But it still seems like a weird. Like we've replaced God with New Age gods, which are superheroes, right? Like it's like, what does this say about the?
You
fall
can't
of this?
not like Marvel.
You can't not. Mary. Okay, guys. Mary showed me this video. Should we watch? I don't even.
I want to show.
Let me see if I can find it.
Yeah.
Which one is it?
I sent this to Brett
Let me see
over
if I
the
can find it.
weekend, and it's some pretty bad cringe. But
I did almost keel over from the cringe of it all.
I am a cringe enthusiast.
She is. I
So
know.
really is.
Here we go.
I know what the best cringe is.
You tell her to stop playing it, and she just turns the volume up. She's like,
No, you need to
Watch
see
it.
it. You do.
I'm Rhea.
Donnie, nice,
Nice
to meet you.
Fun
Let me see if I can full screen it.
fact about Donnie, he's a Marvel nerd. Are you into Marvel?
You know what? No. Like my
Nice.
brother watches them, but I just can't get into anime. Like, okay.
Like, you can't not like Marvel. It's amazing. There's so
Caper-
many
is
different
that
things.
Caper
And it's not
2X?
anime. It's just like a bunch of superheroes who try to save everybody.
Yeah, I'll give it a chance.
Okay.
Maybe. It's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Okay,
so
she
she's
just
out.
dipped.
Caper 2X, is that you?
He's just been exposed.
Is that Caper 2X?
You
I have no
can't.
idea.
You can't not like Marvel.
You can't. Not, you're literally not allowed
Obviously.
to. You're not allowed to not like Marvel. Says Caper 2X and says this guy. That guy was definitely like that. That girl was like kind of out of his league anyway.
Can we just have like a cringe of the day? Because I have plenty of ammunition.
We could do that. We could have cringe.
Did
of the
this
day from
win
now on.
so far?
Yeah, so far, like it's pretty high quality cringe, but I definitely have more in my cringe folder
Ugh.
to share with y'all.
The
Let me
worst is
know.
the TikTok guys getting arrested with a fake police. Like, that's,
For the people in the chat that don't know what that is, Mary, why don't you tell them what that is?
Okay, there are these TikTok e-boys who took a liking to pretending to get arrested against a police car shirtless, where they would like lip sync one of the trending sounds and like wink at the camera and like bite their lip and pretend that they're getting arrested for like simps, like female simps, which I think is disgusting, but it happened. And then Dane acted like I was crazy for even knowing that this was a thing. Like I'm a Zoomer. How am I not supposed to know?
okay.
I'm having. There's the.
What's going on?
I'm trying to fix the crisis meter. There's having issues with the crisis meter today. I don't know what that's about.
Everyone keep count and chat.
Oh, is
Yeah.
it not up right now?
It's not working right now, so we're having issues with crisis meter not locating. So
Okay.
Everyone
We
keep-
might need to call for help.
I'm keep talking about cringe. Give me a minute here.
Okay. I wish I could show you guys this one, but I saw this video over the weekend of Miss World contestants. Didn't know Miss World was still a thing, by the way. But they like do this thing where they're all lined up and they announce which country they're from. And the girls were just absolutely shrieking on camera. Like the first girl was like, Albania! And then the last one, it's the very last one, they were like, you have to sit through the whole video, but you need to wait for France. And then the girl from France, like, I don't even know if I can do it in her accent. She was like, France!
Got it.
Is this chicks
And
yelling?
also, like, people have been pointing out that these Miss Universe, the Miss World, all of those pageants,
Fake. All of them.
well, yeah, they're like
What do you
super
mean?
astroturf because all of the European countries send a black woman or an Asian woman.
Yeah,
Like
Sweden.
for Canada, it was an Asian woman in Miss Universe. Britain is a black woman. Like every European country you can imagine is a
There
black
it is.
woman.
We got it fixed.
But then all of the countries from like South America, like Honduras or like I don't know, like Colombia, anywhere, like they are sending white, blue-eyed, blonde-haired women who basically look like know who's Wet Dream, who do not look like the population, and it's just all upside down. I don't understand why they do this, and everyone's pointing out how strange and
Colombians,
jarring it is.
Colombians have a huge thing for Americans.
I would like to point out in the chat that there is no steam coming out of my ears because the crisis meter wasn't working.
But you fixed
Steam
it.
coming out of your ears
because the crisis meter wasn't working, so I was trying to get it fixed. So they're implying that I was embarrassed. I was not embarrassed. So
Well, you seem embarrassed. Why would you not say
Well,
that?
yeah.
Wait, who is implying?
My face is like beat red. I'm like, I'm not embarrassed, guys. I'm not. All right, so truth, justice in the American way. Also, the other thing about the award shows, there was like a thing I wanted to cover this year where there was they were saying like one of the award shows was totally rigged this year, where they were talking about who the winner was going to be before they even did it.
Who was it?
It was Miss Universe.
Do you remember the Steve Harvey incident?
Yeah,
Oh my gosh, that poor girl.
Dude, it was Miss Colombia, and
Oh really?
yeah. I'll never forget it because she gets the trophy stolen from her. She's like crying, and the other chick gets it, and she could not empathize at all with this girl who got first place and had the world ripped from her. So it's a beautiful picture. I think it's Miss Philippines. She's like this, like
that could turn into Miss Congeniality so fast. Which is a great movie, by the way.
I never
saw
it. Seen it.
Oh my god, the best scene is like, what's the
essential chick flick?
What's the perfect date? And she's like, oh, it's mid-May because it's a little cold, so it's like light jacket weather. Does anyone know that line?
I've never seen that movie.
You should watch it. It's pretty good.
It's a good one. Brett, I just sent you another cringe thing, but if you want to wait till tomorrow.
Let's wait. We'll save it till tomorrow. We'll save it till tomorrow.
Guys, it's so good.
This guy's cringe. What he's doing is cringe. Like, I don't care how you learned.
I'm just not into anime.
No, he's talking about the politician.
I'm talking about the politician.
Oh yeah.
No, she's perfectly reasonable. But this guy.
Let's actually go into the topics that we were going to talk about today.
We will come back. All right, guys, we're moving on. So Billie Eilish is in the news, and Billie Eilish basically is telling you, do as I say and not as I do, as most celebrities do all the time. Basically, it says, Billie Eilish, climate anxiety makes me want to barf all over the floor, but I won't stop selling merch or traveling. Well, of course not, because that would take some level of personal responsibility and actual commitment to a cause.
I can't imagine having this level of cognitive dissonance, because she seems to think that she doesn't force her views on people. So she said, I've spent all of my effort trying not to be in people's faces about it because people don't respond well to that. It makes the causes you believe in look bad because you're annoying the shit out of everybody. Good observation. Yeah. I'm still not shoving information down people's throats. I'm more like, I'm not going to tell you what to do. I'm just going to tell you why I do this. But you're also a bad person if you don't do it.
The thing is, she's saying it alarms her to the point where she's feeling ill.
I think
how much time do you think?
If you read this, making people sick.
If you read this interview from Vogue, they frame it in the most almost cartoonish way, where all of it is about how Billie is such a good person. She's such an innovator. She's so woke and she's so above it all. She knows everything about the climate crisis and she's very aware even though she's so young. So it's literally worded like this. I don't want to be parading around look at me, I'm making a difference, she says, sipping from a reusable water bottle. I just want to be making the difference and shutting the F up about it. You're doing exactly the opposite of shutting the F up about it.
It's kind of like Harry.
You won't stop talking about it.
It's kind of like Harry and Meghan, who want to not be in the public eye while also being immensely in the public eye all the time.
Where they make a docuseries about themselves and all of their personal business, and then Harry writes an entire memoir talking about how he hooked up with a woman outside of a bar when he was 17. Yeah. And then killed 25 members of the Taliban.
That was
and
so
shit.
weird.
What are you talking about? Yeah. And why should anyone care?
Yeah. It's like there is a certain amount of power, or there's a certain amount of nobility in the idea that I was a famous person who walked away from it all, but they want to get the credit for walking away from it all without actually walking away from anything.
Right.
They want to be told,
I'm out of the spotlight.
Yeah,
Don't look at me, but look at me.
They want to be told, oh my God, you're doing such great work, while bragging about how they don't want credit for doing such great work.
I saw a tweet calling this out over the Vogue article. They said, the most produced fake BS. I can't wait for the time when these marketing people realize we aren't all here OMG, Billie is amazing. Look at the inclusivity. She has so much to say. Blah, blah, blah. Over it.
I don't think it goes away, because I think as Gen Z grows up, this is going to become worse, not better, because I think Gen Z will love, eats this stuff up. There's no
such climate anxiety.
There isn't a millennial alive that's I love Billie Eilish because of climate change. That's not a thing. That's not a thing with actual grown-ups.
I don't even think that her Gen Z fan base cares about this issue.
Yeah.
And also I think Billie Eilish, for being as
you
young
don't
as
think
she
they care.
is,
You don't think that Gen Z cares about climate change?
Not the majority. I don't think Gen Z cares about much at all. And I also found this story from last year in August while she was still on her world tour, where her fans got called out for covering venues and sidewalks with litter that they left behind from waiting in line for her concerts. Everywhere she goes, there was just like a trail of garbage.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, clearly your fans don't believe what you're saying. You don't believe what you're saying because you refuse to stop, flying private, touring the world, selling useless merch for way overinflated prices.
It's not that her fans don't believe it. It's just that they don't have the strength of their convictions when it actually matters. They believe it as long as they're on the internet talking about it. They don't
That's
believe
not
it
real
in practice.
belief.
No.
Yeah, that's what I said on a earlier episode. I was like, this is toxic awareness culture.
Explain that.
It's people think that bringing awareness to things matters, and we're past that point.
It doesn't matter if you can bring awareness to it. It matters if you can actually do something
We're
about it.
aware.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks.
Everyone knows what climate change is or means.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't need another celebrity bludgeoning us over the head with the issue when Billie Eilish objectively has a far greater negative environmental impact with the work she does than anyone that she's preaching to.
Yeah,
so
than
why
any
should we
average
care what
person.
she's
But
saying?
it's not even celebrities. It's people who's like, listen, I got 200 friends on Facebook. Okay. I talk about climate change awareness. It's like, well, who cares?
You can bring awareness all day, but does that mean anyone is doing anything positive?
I think
No.
the big takeaway I have from it is with her saying, if I'm to believe what she says, and that that climate anxiety is actually making her barf, and she's not just saying that because some handler with the last name Pasternak told her she had to say that. Then I have to believe that the number one takeaway from this is the media is making people sick. The media is actually damaging people's minds. Worse than we actually thought, right? So it's
Not worse than I thought.
It's I've been watching old episodes of shows, and it's funny. Every show does at least one episode that has to do with some type of environmentalism, especially in police procedurals and dramas. There's always one episode where they bump up against, it wasn't called climate change back then; it was global warming.
Is there a Criminal Minds global warming episode?
That's a good question. Yeah, there probably is. But it probably would have been global warming. But in general, any type of environmental activism, right? And it used to be something that we could laugh off as it's an important cause, but these people are not going about it in a way that actually wins hearts and minds.
It's like something you could care about on Earth Day and then forget about
And
the
then,
next day.
well, it's you'd be doing more good for the world by planting trees, right?
Remember
by going
Earth
out and
Day?
I remember that. That was even that's who's the biggest loser of climate hysteria?
Do you remember
It's-
meat is murder?
Yes. Well, yeah. Well, I mean, wasn't that Lady Gaga's thing?
Oh, was that what she was trying to say with
Is that
her
what
meat
she was
dress?
saying? See, that's how you know your activism failed when your
Right.
statement doesn't, when nobody actually knows what the hell your statement is. She wore a meat dress, and then someone's like, well, she wore it to promote,
Story of my life.
to push back against the cattle industry, and someone's like, actually, she did it to push back against this cause, and then they fight about it. You're like, well, clearly messaging was your problem from the very beginning. But for her, she won an environmentalist award. She won. I wonder how many.
Her and her brother.
I wonder if her and her creepy brother. I wonder if she flew private to go accept her invite, kind of like Leo.
All of these awards don't mean anything, whether it's at the Grammys, the Oscars, the Golden Globes, or some obscure environmental activist organization. None of these awards mean you did anything. It just means you want praise and adulation.
Do you guys want to bring awareness to something?
No, I
right
say
now?
what it means is you brought awareness to something, like Dane said.
Is there something we are not aware of that we need to be aware of?
Chat, what do we need to be?
What do we need to be
What do
aware
we
of?
need to bring more awareness to? The fact that Marvel isn't anime.
We just brought awareness to that.
To the fact that
We're
that
activists.
Marvel isn't. We're activists in our own right.
Listen, I want to bring awareness to people. There's a thing called diners. You don't have to go to Waffle House.
No, see, Dane's
Dane's been railing against Waffle House all morning, and I'm honestly sick of it.
Dane has spent the
You
whole
don't know what you're
day
talking about.
Dane
I
has
do.
spent the whole day being mean about
whole day.
about Waffle House.
If
and
you
the
like
fact that-
IHOP, you're a corporate shill.
also found out that apparently
It's like waffles the epitome of libertarianism now?
I found out that apparently the Waffle House employee who caught the chair left a year ago, and she is now
The video is old.
banned. Yeah, the video is a year old. She was banned from working at further Waffle Houses.
Which is crazy
For
because she was
self-defense,
doing
uh-huh.
self-defense. What was she supposed to do? Just get hit?
Also, it's not like she can control what goes viral.
Yeah.
She's got her own YouTube channel now. She did Tucker Carlson.
That was actually
weird.
a mind.
Dude, what is
F.
Fox News doing?
Tucker Carlson was just like, so what was it like
Catching that chair?
How did you feel when you caught the chair?
This is news.
And she was like, it was pretty intense.
He's like,
There's just nothing else. Like, what are you doing, Tucker?
well, I like because he's like I remember somebody saying like he gets a lot of creative control over what he talks about. So he saw that story, saw the meme potential, and was like,
Sure.
maybe we should cover this.
But
And,
like a random girl that used to work at Waffle House is not pundit material, probably.
I wonder if whoever that was. I wonder if he covered Target Tory. Do you remember Target Tory?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I wonder if he brought Target. He should bring it like just have a whole class of people who have been canceled via. But this lady wasn't even canceled, so that doesn't even work. Target Tory was targeted by that loser dude who tried to get her fired because she wouldn't sell him the electric toothbrush for like 3 cents or whatever
Yeah.
it said on the display model.
I want to bring awareness to something.
Go ahead.
Okay.
When you're making chocolate chip cookies, sometimes the recipe says soften, but don't melt it in the microwave. Like, be sure to let them out and soften. That way the cookie turns out more gooey. There you go.
Thank you
I
for
want to bring awareness to that.
nugget of information.
Mary, what would you like to bring awareness to? If you had Billie Eilish as a talking head who could bring
I can like
awareness to-
tweet from her account.
like
Yeah.
you like if you were like if
That'd
Billie
be terrifying.
Eilish gave like she
Imagine
had-
Mary from Billie Eilish's account.
no, I'm picturing Billie Eilish has like a like in Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory where they got the golden ticket. Billie Eilish has like a golden ticket that she puts in one of her albums, and if you buy the album and you get the golden ticket, she'll shill for whatever cause you want her to shill for. What would you have her shill for?
I would make her go to March for Life.
She's
That would be the
literally
most bizarre
she,
thing.
She literally was like hating on
At the end of the day, she's
America
just a Fox News girl. She
because
can't hide it.
of Roe v. Wade.
Mary, at the end of the day, she just goes back to
She's
Fox News girl in the
Fox News
making.
show.
you're just gonna like morph into somebody wearing a blue or red dress.
I wanted to bring awareness to her admission of guilt here. She said, I shouldn't be making any products. I shouldn't be selling anything. It's just more shit to go to the landfill one day. I know that. But no one's going to stop wearing clothes. No one's going to stop making stuff. So I just do it in the best way I possibly can.
It's funny because that's literally what the average person is saying. Like the way that they paint the rest of the world is that they don't care. But what it is just people that aren't of means have to take that same attitude and say, maybe I'll buy a hybrid. Maybe I'll do the, everyone makes their concessions where they can if it's something that they believe in. But the rest of it's like the average person just doesn't have the time, money, or inclination to care. They just don't. They can't.
Right.
And
I think she cares about getting recognized for being like a poster child of an issue.
She wants to bring awareness to that.
now when the Illuminati is like hiring celebrities, they're like, which cause would you like to shill for? You get to pick, like they give you a little bubble sheet and you get to pick one.
Oh, I want to bring awareness. Brett tried to watch 3 minutes of Survivor.
I did. I gave it 3 minutes and then I said no. I quit.
I mean, it's 3 minutes more than I expected him to do.
I like, and not even on purpose. I was like literally scrolling through it and I'm like, I'll try. And then I just failed.
It was a little bit on purpose.
I just failed. I
Come
feel
on.
pretty bad. So it's like, for me, if I could pick a cause, what would be my cause if I could get Billie Eilish to promote?
Let me know.
It would be
Bring awareness,
It
Brett.
would be men who wear Sperry's with invisible
chubs.
socks.
With chubs, though.
Invisible socks?
The pastel, like, shorts.
Even
I'm
that's,
so
like-
tired of seeing those.
It's the invisible socks. Don't wear the no-show socks.
You know,
guys.
Crocs and socks is a good combination. It's a super fashion fair top.
I
It
mean,
is-
weirdly enough, Crocs are, like, back right now,
Yeah.
and I don't
Really?
like seeing them in public, honestly.
Well,
Not a fan of that. Anyway, here are a couple of other, like, ridiculous things that she did that show how much of a hypocrite she is. She held a week-long climate awareness conference with her brother called Overheated.
Nah,
and
get it?
her and her brother never once took the stage to say anything at all.
cool.
And people were like, we only came to see Billie. This is like a Trojan horse.
Yeah. They're
Like-
using it to get you in there, and then
And then
they
it's just a bunch
bombard
of
you with
nobodies.
propaganda.
Yeah, and then another thing she did on her tour last year, she set up these things in conjunction with some random nonprofit called eco villages at her concert venues, where fans could fill their water bottles for free, register to vote, and learn about environmental nonprofits with an emphasis
What the
on
hell?
BIPOC and women-led organizations.
Wow, every single keyword possible.
And I'm just imagining the sweaty Gen Z people at these concerts, like going in to refill their water bottle and not giving an F about any of the rest
Dude,
of the stuff in these tents.
In one sentence, it's like climate change, but think of the women of color and what else? And go and register to vote?
Yeah, and register to vote.
What's
she was
left?
pushing for people to register to vote also, like, earlier this year.
Yeah.
What cause? First of all, you can't vote. You're like a child. Not you.
No,
her.
she's 20
Oh, well, you need to. Well,
or 21 or something.
there we go. We did it.
Yeah. Billie Eilish is voting, guys. How does that make you feel?
Hey, bring awareness to that.
There was an article. James Lindsay posted an article earlier that said like that tide died suddenly into climate change, so they're already on the march to blame everything that's going on right now on climate change. So it's the world we live in, and that's why this stuff passes. Because I disagree with you. I don't think Gen Z doesn't care. I think you're I don't think you're the microcosm of Gen Z. I think you're pretty unique.
I think she is the microcosm of Gen Z.
I think you're pretty unique. I think Gen Z is, I think they're medicated, scared out of their minds by the media, and trying to do anything they can, and realizing slowly but surely that you can't change the world on your own by yourself. And the problem with that is like now that people live on social media, every day feels longer. It's like you make some post about something you want to change, and then like 20 minutes later you're like, but nothing's changing. And then people get upset and everyone's depressed, and it's just I think it's bad. I think it's bad for society. Celebrities should be going out of their way to not promote causes.
I'm still standing by my thought that Gen Z as a whole does not care about this issue. In fact, even the
think it's
activists,
astroturfed.
and the activists who were interviewed alongside Billie Eilish in this cover, even they admitted that they had been initiated into climate activism when they were as young as like 11 years old.
That's so creepy.
Clearly, it's something they're brainwashed into, and I don't think other members of Gen Z care about it at all. They care about Billie Eilish. They're showing up for Billie Eilish. I don't think that they care about saving the planet. They like want to watch the world burn.
You think that Gen Z, but why do they want to watch the world burn? Because they're being bombarded with climate change propaganda 24/7, and they're told that the world is ending. And Billie Eilish is like, that's right, the world is ending, but I'm still making millions of dollars while the world is ending. Imagine how infuriating and suffocating that must be. Is like you have this millionaire telling you, yes, the world is ending, and I'm going to make a bunch of money off it, and still call you the bad guy. Like, what are you supposed to do with that?
Right. That's why Gen Z is anxious, though. It's not because they think that the world is going to end. I think it's just because they are afraid of all the other ways in which like growing up in today's world is meaningless suffering, and it feels apocalyptic.
Yeah.
But there's no actual, climate crisis they're worried about. They're extremely self-involved. I don't think they care about like
I have ended the
collective
poll,
interests like
ladies
that.
and gentlemen. People hate Mondays more than they hate climate change. It is official.
It's official, guys.
60% of people hate Mondays far more than
We
they
need
hate
Billie
climate
Eilish to
change.
bring awareness to Mondays.
That's actually a pretty reasonable number. Like, I thought it would be like all Mondays and not a single person.
well,
would have
some
voted.
people were contrarian.
Who are those
like
people,
myself,
Mary? Like, okay, you guys voted for
who
you
voted
guys-
climate change for fun, just for the
No high
chaos
five?
of it all.
Do you think part of it is also like we're in kind of like, do you know like the idea that Gen Z has about quiet quitting?
Yeah.
Do you think that's kind of what it is? Is like
It's called self-respect.
If I believe that
Strong
that
opinion.
the world is coming to an end in 10 years per Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and Billie Eilish and various other celebrities, they just don't have to give a crap.
That's my favorite boomer take and Gen X take,
What?
just to trigger Brett. The whole like, hey, even if you get undervalued and treated badly, you just gotta pull up your bootstraps and take it.
Yeah. Just take
it.
I'm the one who simps far more for boomers. I am
Because you
far
are
more
one.
I am far more of a boomer defender than anyone here because I find everyone who complains, even though I agree with them, even though I'm like, yes, the housing market does suck. Yes, wages have stagnated for like the last however long. I still laugh and I'm like, well, cry about it more, loser.
I need scientific evidence as to why boomers aren't the worst.
Why are
Scientific?
I don't
sources.
even really simp for the boomers. It's Gen X. I love Gen X because I'm not Gen X, but I'm close enough.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
My topic's gonna.
You don't have to ask permission.
Okay, yeah.
You don't have to ask permission.
you.
Let's go to Super
Let's do
Chats,
it.
guys. Big Dave sent us 99 cents without a message. Thank you. Waffle Sensei said, I just wanted to say Dane is such a gentleman and a scholar, and it's a real pleasure to have him here. Just a real great guy all around.
Dane, did you like send that under Waffle Sensei's name?
He
No,
hijacked his
but
account.
thank you.
It feels planted.
Yeah.
Usually Matt said Jimmy bought all the tickets to pump the numbers. So true. I think Avatar 2 is a psyop because James Cameron is just pouring all of his life savings into buying
He
out
hates
the
his
theaters.
kids, so he doesn't want to give them any money, so he's just buying his own movie tickets with it. Like, see, that's like now every day, because we always joke around about like ideas for skits for the vlog or fanfic. My brain now every day goes to stuff like that where I'm just like, it would be really funny if James Cameron was just there, like his kids are like bugging him about something. Dad, we want this, and he's like, I freaking hate you,
didn't know he
kids.
had kids.
He's got kids.
Okay.
I'm assuming he's got kids.
Caper2X said, you wish DC boy.
Look, I'm just saying that it wasn't a DC fan who interacted with that girl like that. It was a
Yeah, 'cause
Marvel fan.
DC doesn't have
take with that
fans.
what you will.
True. Johnny Derp said, Superman is dedicated to truth, justice, and the American way. 3 things which seem antithetical to Democrat platform. That is all.
Yeah, they went into, it's really funny at the bottom of that article. They waited till like the last paragraph to get a little opinionated PC. And they were like, it's like, whether they'll actually do, pay homage to the Constitution or do what Democrats have been doing for years and destroying it remains to be seen.
Thank
I'm
you,
like,
bleeding fool.
I'm like, you didn't need to go that far, but I get it.
More like lies, corruption, and un-American way.
It's very un-American.
Caper2X said, wow, Mary, time out. Have you ever been to South America? There is a lot of Spanish blood there. I am dark-skinned, but I got blonde, blue-eyed cousins. I have been to South America. I spent a little time in Honduras.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that how you got here? Did you cross the border?
Yeah, I'm actually an illegal.
That's the
Build a wall.
from
That's
Honduras.
that's the
But
Tucker Carlson argument, right?
all of the people I interacted with did not look like that, K42X. All I'm saying is it's kind of weird because the European nations are sending only people who aren't white, and then the non-European nations are exclusively sending white people.
Everyone's
like,
sending
it's
their minorities.
obviously strange.
Well, it's just like it's a worldwide virtue signal where everyone's proving how inclusive they are by just not focusing on the majority.
Yeah, I don't know.
I guess that's like it's so weird. Do you think as a country or as a world? I guess it wouldn't be a country because we're talking about the world. Do you think as a world we grow out of this?
No.
It's
it'll
kind of
evolve.
impossible.
Yeah, we will. Actually, that's my
It's
take.
It's
Yeah.
kind of impossible to grow out of it because as the world's not going to get less connected. The world's going to get more connected.
The reason I think those non-European countries are sending like blue-eyed, blonde-haired women is because they don't have the same inclusivity standards. Actually,
Yeah. Do you remember that article? It was like, why is the Italian soccer team so white?
right?
It was like
The other
I
people,
wonder.
other countries just don't have this weird anxiety about race that we have. Okay, Carnell said, "Hail Dane Font, sup Brett, hello Mary. May I say I appreciate the inclusion of the poll feature to the show. Keep them coming. That is all."
Oh yes, the poll. I'm like already giggling and teeing at the idea of all of the poll.
We already have a good idea for tomorrow.
Yes, there will be many to come. Like it's too much fun.
No one man can have all that power.
That is true.
Good app said, "Good eye, mates."
Hey,
Also-
there it was. I haven't heard the Australian accent in a while.
Well, he wrote it out to.
Yeah, but it came out that way.
Yeah. Also, cringe of the day needs to happen. I have plenty of it.
We can,
Let's effing go.
It'll be kind of like me developing, like you something has to scab over so you can develop sort of a tolerance for something. Like when you wear skates, like sometimes the skate won't fit you right and you'll get like blisters, and then it blisters over and it starts to fit right because you develop a callus there. I need like a cringe callus builder because I hate cringe. Like I don't
It'll
like
work.
cringe. Also, the other thing was I was thinking about what you mentioned with what you were just saying about the Australian accent. I saw an article today that George Lazenby was saying that he thinks Liam Hemsworth should be the next James Bond.
Yeah, no.
And no.
No.
You can't it's like he's desperate for it because he's like, I have to find some way to be more famous than Chris or at least catch up to my brother.
Hey,
and then
guys.
Luke Hemsworth's over here like, I still exist, guys. And everyone's like, we don't know who you are.
Chet, I want to ask you something. I feel like I appreciate every single one of you, all 560, but I seldom see the 700 fans. Share the link. I just want to see the number.
Yes.
I just want to see the number.
And by the way, guys, now that the crisis meter is working, if you are new to the channel, you do not watch on a regular basis, if you can see the little purple bar down there, that is a crisis meter. It shows up every time somebody super chats us a question, like questions about Mary and supporting cringe of the day and all questions, comments, anything you have to say. It contributes to the crisis meter, and when it gets to $100, we have what is called a crisis party, in which everybody reacts differently based on whether they're talking or not to the loud sound effects and money shooting everywhere. So that is what that is. Now that I have fixed the crisis meter and there's no steam coming out of my ears.
There we go.
Okay. Caper2X said, Brett, did you watch The Recruit, today's cause?
I have not started yet. I'm assuming was it him that suggested it before. I started Kaleidoscope this weekend rather than The Recruit. It's okay. Look, so much of like modern television, Giancarlo Esposito is a great actor, but anytime something new comes out, I admit to being like, ugh. It's weird. That doesn't like Mary. This does not happen when we go to movies. Like I don't ever go into the movies and think like, ugh, like this is stupid. Like I go into the movies, but I go into the movies more optimistic. But I go into the television shows far more pessimistic because I'm like, in a movie, right? Like I'm like, okay, 2.5 hours, 2 hours, we're in, we're out. Like they only have so much time to ruin it. But when I turn on like a TV show and it's 8 episodes and every episode's an hour, I'm like, that is 8 hours they have to just screw everything up. And they like it's almost worse if you make it through 6 hours of it and then the last 2 hours are just really bad or something like that. So it always feels like more of an investment and a painful experience when it goes wrong when you're watching a TV show.
That's what was so horrible about Game of Thrones, because the whole world was like, this is cool, right? And it's like, oh, you're just not going to care at the end.
Yeah. Oh, also, guys, somebody just pointed out 500 people watching, 100 likes. Please hit the like button. It would help us greatly. Subscribe to the channel. Leave comments on this video, both in the live chat and in the regular part. It helps us a lot. Thank you very much.
Oats Red Swoon said Billie Eilish is bringing awareness to the importance of plants to combat climate change, considering what an industry plant she is.
Okay, this weekend, we were talking about Imagine Dragons, and I got Imagine Dragons mixed up with The Score.
No idea who those are.
And like, but both bands to me feel like if anybody could be the Illuminati, it would be Imagine Dragons, because they just showed up one day and they're like unbelievably mediocre. So it's like now we have to start looking like when a new band comes up and they just appear out of nowhere, I have to ask why somebody so average would get so big so fast, and I have questions.
Lori Ann said, I totally agree about Crocs, so not a fan.
I have no strong opinions
Who here
one way
is
or the
own
other on
Crocs?
Crocs.
You own Crocs right now?
No, when I was 14, I had some.
I had some in the past as well.
I mean, aren't they just mostly
I'm
worn by
not-
doctors now?
I wore them with socks.
Doctors.
I wore
Where does
them-
that come from?
I wore them with socks, and my female friends love to remind me how unattractive that was constantly.
What's the footwear that doctors and nurses wear?
Crocs,
Crocs,
and socks.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Crocs and socks.
It's like, have you ever seen like the daytime? I don't know if you've ever had a reason to watch daytime television.
Wait, have you seen what's it called, that show Chicks Love, Grey's Anatomy?
Yeah.
All they're doing is letting patients die and have sex. So
Yeah.
apparently Crocs and socks is very sexy.
Very, very. I mean, General Hospital was the thing long before
The
Grey's
proof
Anatomy.
nurse TikToks.
But yeah,
Yeah.
oh man. But no, like, so have you ever seen the daytime television shows? It's for like, it's not even to become a nurse, it's to become like a nurse technician, and they like fetishize scrubs. It's like about like they're like I couldn't wait to get my first pair of scrubs. Like it's like you're not even a nurse, you're like a nurse technician, but like they're not selling you on a profession or even the money. They're selling you on the fact that you get to wear scrubs to work every day. It's like a low point in my life when like that was the type. It's like there's this meme. It's of Danny DeVito like sitting on a couch. It's from like Always Sunny. He's got like, the food all over him. It says it's like you're watching daytime television. It's like you ever feel like a lazy piece of shit?
Yeah,
like, yes,
right now.
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Dr. Copernicus said, "Greetings from Pole. Mary is my queen."
Okay,
Maybe
well,
this is
go back.
Caper 2X's
Alt account.
alt account.
That could be.
Sounds strangely similar.
One more.
There are multiple. Did you want to cut it off?
Yeah, one more
Okay.
and then we'll move on.
Caper 2X said, "Honduras is Central America, Mary."
Yeah, Mary.
Yeah,
There
Mary.
were other countries listed from South America as well, but all I'm saying is like none of the people I met in Honduras had blonde hair or blue eyes.
All right, there we go.
That's just a fact.
All right, we're moving on, guys. Now that we've gotten Billie Eilish being an absolute shill out of the way, let's talk about Lizzo. So Lizzo turned cancel culture into a racial argument.
Is Lizzo
So, yeah,
based though? Lizzo anti-cancel culture?
it's like that's so like the most charitable possible take you could have from this. It says-
Guys, don't get it twisted. She's not speaking about cancel culture the way that we do.
No, she says, Lizzo says cancel culture is appropriation. It's become trendy, misused, and misdirected. What she's saying is that it was a good thing when I got to use it against certain people, but it's a bad thing when those certain people get to use it against me or other people. I figured this had something to do with like her getting in trouble for saying the word spaz.
You know, me and Lizzo are kind of kindred spirits because I also like weaponizing things against my enemies.
Like what?
You know, things.
Like what?
Interesting. I'd have to think about
Okay.
it. So many options. I don't know.
Do you think
I
this
didn't
is her-
expect that joke to get elaborated.
This is her like pushing back on the fact that she got called you can't say spaz and she bent the knee right away.
Well,
Spaz.
yeah, now Lizzo has
Trigger warning,
arbitrarily
spaz.
decided that as soon as she becomes the target of cancel culture, then it's being misused. Here was her full take. She said, "This may be a random time to say this, but it's on my heart. Cancel culture is appropriation. There was real outrage from truly marginalized people, and now it's become trendy, misused, and misdirected. I hope we can phase out of this and focus our outrage on the real problems."
What's the real problem?
The
So Lizzo
question here
thinks
is-
that her using the word spaz in a song lyric is not a real problem, but I say, Lizzo, whatever you think is a real problem, it actually also doesn't matter.
Which, yeah, it's like everyone believes that their problems are the real problems.
I'd love to see Lizzo's like official top 10 list of real problems that we're supposed to care about.
By the
I
way-
bet all of them are stupid.
Trigger warning. We're gonna say spaz a lot. So trigger warning. Everyone.
Trigger
I
to-
refuse to
Yeah.
like let the, I think when okay, in the chat, guys, we covered this story originally where Lizzo got in trouble for having the word spaz in a song, and then Beyonce did as well. I'm like, Mary knows that I will bend over backwards to like help people out. To like, I use the pronouns you asked for. I refuse to not say spaz. I'm not doing that. Spaz, it's fine.
I mean, we're saying it right now.
Yes.
So.
It's what her problems are, and everyone believes this, right? Everyone believes that their problems are the real problems that need solving. It's kind of like a weird, almost postmodern idea, right? Like it's like everyone just takes their own idea of what the real issues are and make it so. But the problem is she has the platform.
I feel like there's a good libertarian joke in there here, but it's just not coming.
Oh, there was a really funny one that I got into with somebody over the weekend because I went to the public library. I had to go to the public library to get something notarized this weekend, and the very first book, as soon as you walk in, is a book on open borders. It's like literally front there. It's like boom. It's like open border. It's like the argument for open borders, and it was written by some economic libertarian. Was the way the guy's authorship was described, like a self-described economic libertarian. And then like Lydia was like explaining to me like that's a big thing in like the actual libertarian party is the idea of open borders. So it's just really funny to me. I was like looking at that book. I'm like, yeah, propaganda, awesome, fantastic.
How little things change.
So
I think libertarian is a title that you use was like, I care very passionately about this, but I don't want to go explain. Wait, I do want to go explaining. They explain all the time, those libertarians.
Also, the other thing here is like they talk about the difference between cancel culture and being held accountable.
Accountability culture.
There's no
which
difference.
Which is BS because like I remember the term cancel culture. When do you guys remember hearing that for the first time?
Cancel culture?
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's a good question. I
don't
don't
know.
know.
Because I remember it was like when I was still
2018?
I was like still in high school. This was during
Oh,
like
God.
the height of like, once again, like the beauty influencer drama stuff.
Yeah.
And they're like, this is cancel culture. This is cancel culture. And I was like looking into what that meant. And since then, to me, it's always referred to the same thing, which is a concerted collective effort to dox an individual and take away their ability to make a livelihood for themselves, as well as from their friends or family members who don't condemn them.
They want, it's not so much that they don't want you to just be out of a job. They want you to be out of a job. They want you to be homeless. They want you to literally, and even if you bend the knee, it's never enough. Like it's never enough. You're always still guilty. Or you apologize and they say you weren't sincere.
Yeah,
Right. No apology is good enough.
Nope. That's why you should, like, it's kind of weird. Like, this is like a discussion I actually have on a regular basis. Like, it's the idea of, like, when is it good to apologize? And the idea is that it's good to apologize when you're apologizing to an individual. It's never good to apologize when you're apologizing to a collective.
This topic goes perfectly with my story.
Okay. Well, we're not there yet. We'll get there.
I would just say, but I don't know, but be excited.
Dane's
getting
like over
excited.
here pushing for his issue.
I just think
It
this
bombs.
is
Just
why
everyone likes it.
celebrities are the last people we see have any room to claim they're a victim of cancel culture, because
Not
they
with the size of
are
their platforms.
anti-fragile because of their platforms, because of their money that could last Lizzo, I'm sure, a lifetime or more. And they want to be the perpetrators of cancel culture while at the same time being immune to its effects.
Yep.
I think Lizzo probably thinks of herself as a victim of the misuse of cancel culture, which I'm not saying people should have gotten all up in arms about her using the word spaz. That's obviously a stupid thing to care about, but like, you earn your first world problems. Them,
remember,
live with them, accept it.
Bring back the term first world problems. It was the great unifier. It reminded everyone that lives here, especially in America, that whatever your race, creed, color, sexuality, you are still far more privileged than 90% of the world.
I never heard people say first world problems. I would always hear white people problems.
I've
seen both.
It was always first world problem. I mean, I hear that one too. I told you the story on Friday about the guy who broke into the school to save the people from the blizzard. Guy broke into a school to save a bunch of people from a blizzard over the holidays, and then someone's like, "Good thing he was white." Like
That's the only way you would have gotten away with this.
Yeah, no cop showed up.
breaking and entering.
Yeah. So
Whatever.
But no, it was like first world problems was a great way of like, I think about this a lot. Whenever I see people make ridiculous videos online,
who would do that?
Videos that I love, right? I'm just like, we're allowed to do this because in the grand scheme of things, we have a very, very comfortable life here. Maybe not everyone's super financially stable all the time, but in general, you have very few in the way of actual struggles in your day-to-day life compared to other places in the world.
Particularly if you're someone as privileged as Lizzo, where her biggest problem is that people on the internet bully her for being fat.
Just turn off the computer.
I mean, yeah, literally.
Just
She's
turn
also
off the
made
computer.
like an entire marketing angle out of the fact that she's overweight.
It's her whole
and it's
personality.
like, this is the least interesting thing about you that you could use to get attention, but somehow it's working.
Yeah, you sing pretty. Stick to that.
Right? Like, she is actually talented at what she does, but she's taking away from it so much by being like an insufferable person.
You know how much it must suck to be like, hey, no, stick to the being fat thing.
Yeah.
I know you're a...
But she's like embracing it.
This was one of the responses. Says, I don't want people to be canceled. I want people to be held accountable and receive consequences according to the bad action or crime that they did.
Guys.
Is that too much to ask?
Who are we holding accountable?
And like, by what standard? By you? Are you the one doling out the punishment? That's what they really want. They want to be the ones that get to dole out the punishment and the crime. Mm-hmm. They don't actually want a criminal justice system. They want to punish people by their own vindictive nature.
I want to hold the Illuminati accountable, but next episode.
You leave the
next
Illuminati
Monday.
out of this. Oh, guys,
Hey,
by the way.
next Monday, I'm going to expose them.
Chat.
This is so funny.
All my videos from this weekend that involved the Illuminati got demonetized.
Based.
And the videos that involved the Rothschilds all got context labels added to them, as if me and Mary are here doing the hard-hitting journalism that's exposing the Rothschild family.
As if we
and the
sat here and
Illuminati.
said, Mel Gibson is actually making a movie about the Rothschilds.
Yeah, that's it's like,
and then we just acted like that was true. It's crazy because we added as much context as you could possibly add.
And I literally said at the beginning
And
of the
it's
video,
still not good enough.
like to avoid the people in the comments saying like that's not what's happening. I was like, this movie is not happening. It was a misunderstanding. It says it right here. And then like, so there was unlimited context added to it. And YouTube's like, here, let me help. I've got more context to add for you.
Yeah.
It's
As if
just-
people needed to look up the Wikipedia page of who the Rothschilds are.
And here's the funny thing. When I posted, so I posted the story posts about it, and I swear it took 2 tries on both posts.
it flagged
it kept
automatically.
deleting it. It would say it posted, and then I would go back and look, and it wasn't there. Do I believe that there's some shadowy conspiracy? No, but if you're actually doing something wrong, maybe the best way to not draw attention to yourself is to not make it seem like you're actually doing something.
That was
That's
my
all I'm
take on the
saying.
Illuminati thing. Like, if you think there are schizo posters on YouTube talking about, like, they think Doja Cat actually is Illuminati.
Doja Cat.
Right. Like, if they actually think that and then post about it and then you limit their ad suitability or you add context or whatever, doesn't that just make their delusion more extreme? Like, you're literally worsening the delusions of delusional people.
Which one of us 3 is the most likely Illuminati?
Definitely you, because you brought it up.
Oof.
Could be. Also, the funny thing is given what our first topic of the day was, there's going to be a climate change context added to the Billie Eilish topic.
You think?
Yay.
I guarantee you.
Really?
I hope
Have
it's
you
all
seen
3.
that?
I hope it's climate change awareness. I don't
What
know,
about our
whatever.
other videos that like use that term?
I
don't think I've seen that before, but it would be pretty crazy if it was. We've been like flagged on YouTube. I hope not.
See, but maybe what it is that Doja Cat is just a really big fan of our channel.
She watches all.
She watches all the time, and she hits up Jeffree Star. She's like, "Hey Jeffree, you should hit them up."
Hey Jeff.
She watches it with Amber Heard.
Well, Amber Heard doesn't like the channel. Amber Heard likes me. That's what it is. That's what it is. Amber Heard watches for me.
I wanted to address another thing that was getting commented a lot under Lizzo's take, which was that they are really upset about how the word woke has been co-opted.
Oh yeah.
But like, here's what one of them said. White nationalists have appropriated woke to weaponize against the community that the expression hails from as well. I would love to know what that community is, but the only context anyone saw about the word woke was people who think having like left-wing social justice beliefs makes you awake and everyone else is asleep.
Yeah.
That is not particular to any, quote, community.
No.
And it was appropriated because it sounded stupid in the first place.
When was the first time you heard that term?
Woke?
Yeah.
Definitely around like anti-SJW YouTube.
2012.
No, for me, I remember when woke was still being used before leftists got super SJWs. I think it was on the arc where atheism was like super big on YouTube.
Yeah. The Amazing Atheist.
Yeah, and people were saying woke as if like cognizant of things that are actually happening. And then the worst people in the universe got hold of it, and here we are.
I know you wouldn't have gone through an atheist phase, obviously. Did you ever go through a heavy I'm a rebellious atheist phase?
Richard Dawkins
I would never
fanboy.
I would say I was agnostic because I was P word.
Okay. I mean, okay.
LOL.
I don't get what's the P word?
Well, I mean, we
you
can't
really
say
want
it
me to
on
say
YouTube.
it, Brett?
No.
Dane,
okay.
don't say it.
But like,
We're kind of getting off topic.
This is the topic now. I want to bring awareness.
It says, but my favorite of all of them was after her post, somebody says, unfortunately, hun, which is weird because usually you only say hun on the internet if you're trying to be mean to someone. It's kind of like calling someone sweetie on the internet. You deserve to be just like, I'm not an authoritarian, but you should probably get a 24-hour ban for using sweetie ever.
I love being called sweetie.
Not on the internet. It's a different thing. It says, unfortunately, hun, the bigots have gotten loud, so our outrage has to be louder. Everyone's just outraging together.
The language of focusing our outrage on the real problems is insane, because when has just outrage without anything else to it ever solved a problem?
Well, what problem has actually been solved?
Pretty much every debate between men and women.
What problems has, like, can anybody think of like a problem Hollywood outrage has actually solved?
I don't even understand. That's not like a point.
Subscribe for more misogyny.
Mere outrage with nothing productive behind it has never really solved a problem.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of an example where it has solved something recently.
No,
I can't
and I'm not even saying
Other
it's
than
wrong
make
to
people
be angry about something that's unjust. It just can't be pure anger, because otherwise you're just looking to destroy people.
Yeah. Well, that's what they like.
I know.
They don't want a criminal justice system. They don't want people to actually be tried by a group of their peers, because they want to have the authoritarian power to punish you indiscriminately for stuff that they don't like, based on, you know, whatever their emotionally stunted view of the world is today. Like, I was reading this thread. If you guys don't know who the channel Garbage Human is on Instagram, it is a window into just the worst aspects of society. And they had this thread, and it's like 9 pages of the same person talking about depression, right? And it's just like you get an image into, like, these are the people, right? That they're depressed, they're sad, they're heavily medicated, and those are all fine and good. I wish everyone well on their struggles, but it's when a person, I wish everyone well to overcome their struggles.
Okay.
It's when people like that become authoritarian over other people's behaviors and how they're supposed to be treated that I take issue. So we have an extremely authoritarian society that looks to Lizzo for an idea of what the actual outrage culture should be. Like, what are the good places and the good things that we should be outraged about?
But let's be honest, no one's looking up to Lizzo for anything. It's just people just say they do. That's what's really going on in society. People just pretend who inspires them, but at the end of the day, we're all getting inspired.
Stacey
by the same.
Abrams is a real hero.
True.
It's like who is it? Was it Andrew Schultz who said, like, he hates fat models because he's like he talks about how basically, like, they're forcing you to say that they're beautiful. Like, he's like an actor.
And then Jordan Peterson is like, LOL, no thank you.
Not
hot.
Not hot. Not hot.
Let's go to Super Chats. Born Mexican, raised in America, said, Mary, Honduras is Central America. Anya Taylor-Joy is from South American. A lot of European blood in South America. That is true, but the average person from Honduras is not white. That's my point. Joel D. Valdez said, I heart Ghost Girl.
Who's Ghost Girl? I don't know.
Yeah.
can't see her.
Never heard of her.
I've never heard of her.
Hells and the Kid said, whose hair is more fire today, Mary or Dane? That should have been the poll.
Oh, missed opportunity.
Can you make it now?
Chat, can we add another
Can we do
poll? I think I can. Oh my god. Oh my god.
I really hope it's me.
Do I have to
but your
actually
hair
put-
looks great.
Thank you.
Who has better
But
hair?
you should vote for me.
For Dane, it's always the days when his hair looks best that he's like, does my hair look really bad right now?
Really? No. But
guys,
I wasn't like that today.
The poll is open.
All right.
Make your voices
This
heard.
is a democracy, guys.
Yeah.
We're not the fake people talking about democracy. We're really into democracy.
Quick
here.
vote for
We love democracy here at Pop Culture Crisis. In fact, I wanted to name this podcast Democracy Culture Crisis, but they wouldn't let
Guys,
me.
you're all voting for Mary. The hell?
No. Ryan Brown said, mediocrity is held up in any media by people with bad taste.
That's actually a really intellectual take on like an issue where it's like I think a lot of it is just like people take what's given to them, and a guy going to work is just going to listen to what's on the radio, and if he or she hears Imagine Dragons, so be it. Also, somebody in the chat, I think it was Sketch Therapy, said Lizzo has earned far more fake praise than Imagine Dragons ever could. So it's like, yeah, it's kind of true. Like, I don't like Imagine Dragons really, but they did at least have that one.
They're
good...
Illuminati, by the way.
See, when I saw that, I was like, well, of course.
Dude, I'm getting crushed.
Dang. I thought you'd win. Xander, it could turn
I'm not
around.
gonna lie, me too.
Xander Klein said, I heavily recommend watching The Chosen. It's free, has its own app, and is an extra canonical story of Jesus and his disciples. Wrapping up season 3 soon and is funded by viewers. I do think
saw
it's
something
really
about that.
cool that it is just crowdfunding. I do wish it
Did we
was
talk about
streaming
this
on
here?
like a mainstream app, but I don't think it would get welcomed there.
No, it wouldn't at all. Did we talk about that? I feel like me and you might have talked about this.
I mean,
off
I
air or
haven't
something.
watched it, but I have a lot of family members who have, and they have good things to say about it.
Do you remember what they said they liked about it?
Well, it also is like helpful for some people who like need the visualization of the Bible.
Okay, all right, that makes sense to me. Like I feel like
In
that
addition to reading.
I would benefit from that.
Yeah.
Like, maybe not when I was younger. I don't know if this happens to anyone else, but I felt like my reading comprehension was much better when I was younger as opposed to older. Like maybe it's just like the world was more.
It's true. You have gotten worse.
Thank you. The world was more quiet at that time, so you read
Birth
more.
control.
Thank you. So you read more like succinctly. Like when I would sit down and read, I wouldn't have as many distractions, and I don't do well with distractions. So
You just gotta like lock yourself in a dark room for an hour with nothing.
perfect. Now Waffle Sensei's calling for a recount. Mary is crushing it right now. Guys, if you're in the chat or if you've just joined the chat, there is
when
a
does
poll.
the poll end?
There is a poll.
Never.
I will end it at the end of topic 4.
Okay.
Before the show. Let us know who today, between Mary, who you're seeing on camera now, and Dane, who you're seeing on camera now, which one of them which one of them has the better hair today? You'll have to let us know.
Okay.
Keep going.
1,000 Foot Deep End said cancel culture for me, but not for thee, Lizzo.
What? That was so pathetic.
Yes.
Like $1.
That happens sometimes.
I love that.
I swear this never
Defective.
happens to me.
Joel D. Valdez said Ghost Girl is amazing. I heart Ghost Girl and Let the Money Fly.
Well, the money did fly, so thank you.
Thank you. Yesh said, Ghost Girl, look at me. I'm the real contrarian now. I did not take your poll. This was Brett's poll. I have nothing to do with it. but it's rigged.
It's definitely rigged.
Stop the steal.
Dude, stop the steal for real.
Hashtag stop the steal.
1,000 Foot Deep End said, being bullied for being overweight is the height of first world problems. LOL.
It really is.
Yes.
Look, and the funny thing is, it's so like I feel like we should embrace it. I'm saying this ironically, like it's very American to be overweight. I remember that like every time I've gone overseas, they're like, I can't believe you're not fat.
I think it's just very European to think that all Americans are fat,
yeah.
though.
Okay, yeah.
It's not even.
But when you go out in public, like, you know, you realize this is a pretty widespread issue.
Also, guys, if you don't vote for Mary or Dane, like you don't really deserve a say.
Is there a
in
third
our-
option?
There's no third option.
Why why weren't you one of the options?
because
Your hair is not even showing.
I don't have any hair. I'm hair's covered.
Okay. But they might still like yours the best. Joel D. Valdez, I don't want to read that. It makes me cringe. I'm sorry.
Oh.
Tagti Planny said, shout out to French toast, the best breakfast food. So true.
Yep.
Will Cybernaut said, Dana's right. Nobody looks up to Lizzo.
Look around her, maybe.
They can't see anything else.
Sorry.
T-Bone said, instead of first edition Superman, the Congressman was probably thinking of Red Sun Superman, where he lands
Yeah.
in USSR instead of the USA.
Yeah,
Probably.
maybe he watched like the animated movie of that. That's what I saw.
Oats Red Swoon said, it's okay, Dane. You're still a cutie.
Thanks,
But
man.
Mary is cute and can haunt us.
Yeah,
Thanks.
There's
they're,
a threat behind it.
they're scared.
Thanks, men on the internet.
They're
Thank
only
you.
voting for me out of fear.
God,
And Bobcat said Brett would have won the poll if he was
but
blonde.
it's not even.
Everyone
close,
loved the blonde
though.
hair on Brett. I think he should bring it back, even if just for himself. He was literally getting swarmed by women in public.
My ego would have been okay with a 60-40, but it's 70-21. 29. It's
That's not that bad.
It's
pretty bad.
I feel like any poll that involves any type of physical appearance, the woman is at an automatic advantage.
I'm
so-
every woman.
So you're okay. So you should have the double advantage.
I
here.
should. That's what I'm saying.
That just proves that your hair's
This is
looking
a
really good
fair-
today, Mary.
Yeah, it's looking great.
All right, let's hold off. We'll come back.
Okay.
We're coming back, guys. Also, I see people in the chat talking about however many crisis parties they get for me to have a man bun. I had a man bun at one point, just not on purpose. My hair was just really long, and I have to put it up in a man
By
bun.
the way, the
It's real.
crisis thing never went in.
It will.
So now I shall make a song. I'm just kidding.
Okay.
It's
All right.
it's on a timer, guys. Anyway, the next thing that we are talking about is North just wiling out on TikTok. The reason that Kanye objected to North having a TikTok in general is becoming clear by the day. So she is dressing up as Kanye on TikTok, and she recently made a video with Kim cosplaying as her dad, and that one is still up. The comments are turned off. And second, thank you guys. It finally showed up.
Did you feel like over the last week it was like really quick, like right after the party happened?
I don't know. I don't remember. But anyway, the second video that she posted was one with her friend where Kim was not in eyesight. And she had her friend dress up like Kim dressed in like 2008 when she was still Paris Hilton's assistant.
Yes.
So her friend was like wearing this pink like tracksuit with like a Louis Vuitton bag, and then she was still dressed as her dad in a real jacket that he wore to the AMAs in 2008. And people were saying like, wow, North is really good at makeup. She looks exactly like him, but I think it's just the fact that they're related.
I was gonna say it's almost like, have you ever seen the video? It's somebody's like, it's a picture of me and my dad 30 years apart, and he just looks like his dad. Someone's like, yeah, crazy. It's almost like you're related.
Yeah. Well, she drew a beard on and basically looked exactly like him. Let's just watch the video.
This is like
music?
say you need therapy without saying you need therapy.
Copyrighted music.
There we go.
Yeah, it's one of Kanye's songs.
Can I sing it?
Yes. Here, let's start over. Go ahead, Dane.
La la la, wait till I get my money right. Oh.
Is this like a subliminal message about the fact that he's paying Kim like $200K a month in child support?
Imagine he's paying child support right now.
Maybe North is like trying to raise awareness about that.
Oh, yeah. Now that should be like a new question we ask for every episode. Like, what would, if this person was to raise awareness for one cause, what would Northwest raise awareness for?
I mean, maybe the fact that
Leave her dad alone.
her dad is like going missing.
But her dad. Speaking of Kanye West, he was actually seen out in public with a new woman for the first time.
Who some people
But-
believe is Miley Cyrus.
That would be
Really?
that'd be such a vibe.
Would it be a vibe though?
What an era.
I mean, she is newly single.
The mashup
Ready
we
to
didn't know
Pringle.
the mashup we,
Pringle.
the mashup we didn't know we
love that.
needed.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not a fan of this. I just like wonder how he finds these women. Because
Instagram.
he's not leaving his house.
Yeah, he's hitting up the.
He's just like sliding in the DMs.
Yeah.
What are they even doing? Like, where are they hanging out?
See, like maybe this is like a sense like if I got a message, I would just assume it was fake.
I just picture some
From any-
Instagram thought like nodding and smiling to his ramblings.
Yeah.
For like an hour straight, just for
Can we go get a picture in public now
The
so people can
pictures.
see me? So people can see I'm out with you.
Hey,
so I
his
can-
Yeah.
his name is Shane Cashman, and he's my friend. Okay.
And
So-
then there's
mind
another
your mouth.
TikTok that she filmed with Kim that I wanted to show. Kim turned off the comments, and I believe Kim was the same person who.
This one?
No,
No. Which one is it?
I got
Do we
it.
have that one?
I know I sent it.
I got it. Do you want me
To
to send
you.
it?
I don't know if I have the other one. I only have this one.
Okay.
Well, okay. Well, I got it. It's in the.
Okay, I got it.
This is
You gotta
this
be
is
prepared for these things.
top
Brett.
content right now. Sending links.
There it is.
There it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, copyright.
Is that makeup or is that an effect?
No, it's makeup.
Ah. What? It's like crying out for dad.
Yeah.
A lot of people were saying this like has weird vibes. Is she able to see her dad? Why is she dressing up as him, but she's not
Yeah.
being seen with him in public at all? And then they also think that Kim is trying to throw shade at Kanye because she also posted a video of them dancing to a Taylor Swift song, who obviously has had beef with Kanye over the years.
Yeah.
They also deleted this TikTok
that's the
where
relationship he needs to get into. He needs to date Taylor Swift.
maybe
He probably has.
No, he hasn't because
he did write the lyric. I think that we could still have sex.
Yeah,
so
like that. That's like
maybe it'll be a prophetic.
She can
thing.
enter her bad girl, her like not annoying bad.
I think
girl
she's
phase.
married.
Is she married?
No
No.
way.
Or she's at least engaged right now.
Is she?
Yeah.
I mean, if that's
his name's Joe Alwyn.
if her past is any indication, he'll be in albums soon.
Well, Well, she hasn't been engaged before.
Plus, think about this. All the music she's written because of bad relationships. Imagine the album that could come out of a Kanye West relationship with Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it would be incredible. Like,
what a nightmare.
Then he could make one about her, and they could release it at the same time on the same day and cross promote.
I think I just saw like a thread of people shitting on Ellen because every time that she had Taylor on her show, she would just start playing a slideshow of like all of these random celebrity men she's just like had a picture taken with, and she's like, just like ring the bell if you've dated him. Just ring the bell. And then Taylor like literally is begging her to stop and like almost crying.
Do you think that stuff does stuff like this make you feel like kind of blessed to live in like a not so
Stuff like what?
Like what's going on with Northwest and mom and dad, and like, thank gosh I live in like a normal world.
I find this highly disturbing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, do you like does your life feel deliciously normal in comparison?
Yeah.
I do not believe Kim when she says, yeah, my kids are shielded from everything. They don't know a thing about our family drama.
Yeah.
When your kid is literally unsupervised on TikTok, how do you think they don't know?
There's a meme on the internet that says
where they usually are.
Single mothers love to dress their children like the men who left them.
I've never heard that before.
Okay, well,
seems like Kim wasn't
crazy.
particularly involved in this video.
Yeah.
This is a more nuanced.
Explain
take.
that to me.
I couldn't, Brett. It was just a meme on the internet. I don't think it has a lot of depth.
Does that make sense to you?
Well, it had a picture.
I don't know.
The meme had like a picture of Goten from Dragon Ball after Goku died.
So it's like a lot of people were making a big deal about Kim and how she dressed after, like, because her clothing style changed after dating Kanye, then dating Pete Davidson, and then they showed her before Kanye, during Kanye, and then after Kanye.
Well, this is the thing. When people think of and visualize Kim Kardashian, they think of Kanye's vision of what she is, not what she was before.
Yeah.
That's when you think of her in your mind, like you see Kanye's
vision of her
creation, basically. Like he did brand her in a lot of ways, and I think she maybe like envies his ability, like his creativity, because she's not that original of a person.
That's because she's corporate created now. She's just the corporation.
Yeah, I think it's also just bizarre that she seemingly controls this account, and curates what North is allowed to post. And she deleted this one, and then there was another incident recently where they like revealed that they have 2 Pomeranians who solely live in their garage, which seems like abusive. Like they were getting a lot of pushback on that one because like you're just subjecting 2 dogs to like the weather inside of a closed space and not allowing them in the house. Like, it was really weird. Then she deleted that one. So Kim just isn't, I don't think that she's as smart as she lets on about, you know, what the internet is allowed to see about their lifestyle. It's showing that she's kind of like panicking.
Yeah.
And she doesn't have as much control over it as she would like us to believe.
I
can tell that North is going to be a problem for this family because she obviously like has Kanye's sense of humor and his lack of decorum as well.
I tune into Pop Culture Crisis to see Mary psychoanalyze people based on very little information. It's truly my favorite thing about the show.
I mean, we do have a lot of information about this family.
True.
Relative to others.
Okay, well.
And then
I take it back then.
Kim literally brands Pete Davidson like cattle.
Yeah.
Like quite literally. Yeah. Gets her initials burnt into his neck. And we're supposed to believe that she wasn't part of the problem in this?
Yeah. I mean, he's off to greater things.
He's who's he? So he's with somebody else now.
Ratatouille.
No, they've broken up.
No.
She's with another comedian now. I don't remember that guy's name though.
He broke up with
Andre
Ratatouille?
something. Yeah, or she broke up with him. I don't know.
Dude, this guy.
Well, then she goes on a rant about how, like, you know, men don't actually want strong women. So maybe she was aiming that at Pete Davidson.
I couldn't even cover that. Like when I read that, it's the most boilerplate. Like it's literally like somebody went back to 2012 and took the first argument. It's like men are scared of strong women, and it's just like really, like nobody goes to Emily Ratatouille for like really deep nuance. Like you think think this show is like fast food for intellectualism. Anything involving Ratatouille is far, far more vapid and surface level than anything else.
I feel like
on
she
the
might have been
internet.
throwing shade at Pete there.
Think so?
Maybe.
Is it? He like so Pete Davidson was actually scared of her. He wasn't scared of Kim Kardashian. He was scared of Emily Ratajkowski or whatever her name
Is he off to the next woman he's gonna disappoint? Or?
Probably.
Yeah.
Cool.
He should write a book. He
really
He should
should.
write a book about how to pick up women.
He's someone who seems like he already has written a book.
Think so?
Maybe like a memoir.
Like-
Like really self-pitying.
I feel like he needs to write a book about how to pick up women and then just have it
For
be-
real.
And the whole book is just
How
like,
to pick
be
chicks
rich
way
and
out of
good.
your
And then
league.
the editor's note will be from Kanye.
That would be great. And like Kanye can write. No, he gets Kanye to write the foreword.
Honestly, he's on some Timberlake levels of impressive resume.
Yeah, but Timberlake is actually like a handsome dude, and
And happily married, by the way.
yes,
I was just thinking, like, how do you write a 9-minute song that goes to radio? Like, he's just that in love with his wife, dude.
what is it?
He's
Is there a
happy.
9-minute
He wrote a
song?
whole album about, like, doing shrooms on a camping trip. Like, he's just living his best life, I
What is he,
guess.
25 in Colorado?
I mean, at least he's living that way. But he wrote a whole album, like a concept album about like getting high in the woods.
Are there a lot of? Do you think there's more like well-adjusted celebrity? There's a lot of well-adjusted celebrity couples, or at least like long-married celebrity couples in television. Less so in film. Like I'm trying to think of like in the music industry. Is there anybody that's been together for like a long time? That you can think
Beyonce and
of?
Jay-Z.
Beyonce and Jay-Z.
But it's
like,
well known that they haven't always had like a good
Also, that's like
relationship.
one of those like people miss the mark when they're like posting the picture of like him and like Jay-Z and Beyonce at the beach, and he's like got his gut out, and they're like, "This man pulled Beyonce. You can shoot your shot, Kings." I'm like, the dude's worth like $250 million.
I don't think she was ever with Jay-Z for his looks.
Yeah, this is
I'll just leave it at that.
It's like that's a horrible take on that. Like obviously, like not to say that she doesn't have her money too, but you know if
Someone
she's-
said Ozzy and Sharon.
How long have they? Yeah, they've been together a long time, and they're leaving America too. They're leaving America because there's too much gun violence here, apparently.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's really sad. That's such a loss for us.
Yeah. What are we gonna do without Ozzy and Sharon?
Do you guys think
I don't
that North should be allowed to run her own social media?
No, she's
No.
super young.
Super young.
Yeah.
Keep them off.
Yeah.
I mean, how old is North?
I think she's like 13.
So she's like just at the age where like you can use this app that gives you access to way too much information and way too many risk factors when you're 13.
It's so hard because by age 10, I was deep in the internet, so I don't even know how.
Not
what's
necessarily a
advice.
good thing, though.
That's what I'm
know?
saying.
I think it does more harm than good.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And then I was just remembering like this story about Scott Disick and Kourtney Kardashian's son Mason, who all of these people started this big rumor that he was running an undercover Instagram account that
Oh,
was like
yeah, I forgot about that.
dishing insider gossip about their family and trashing his mom. And I mean, it likely was fake, right?
Yeah.
But the fact that that would even be a conversation is crazy to me. And he also was like live streaming himself on TikTok or whatever and had to have that taken away from him.
Yeah.
You can't trust kids in general to know what they're doing on the internet, let alone when they have millions of eyes on them, judging them and making stories about them.
And won't understand really the ramifications when they're so young.
Yeah. And like, I don't think if I'm in analyzing mode, I don't think that this is a normal thing to do to like
Yeah, get
you and your
friends-
friend like
Yeah.
dress up as your parents.
I'll be
like,
daddy, you be mommy.
I
Like,
literally
no.
can't.
back
think-
when they were in love. Like that's
Yeah.
just
Did somebody?
a little
Did you
off.
say that somebody earlier said like kids dress up as their parents? I'm like, that's not a thing. Like that's
No.
I've never cosplayed.
Y'all
as
never did this?
Y'all
Nope,
never
I
cosplayed as
didn't.
your parents? No, I definitely never
Not even
cosplayed
once.
as either of my parents. Like
Yeah.
literally.
I think
never.
maybe the reason this got taken down was because her friend's parents didn't want it up. But in general, I'm just picturing Kim like running to delete that because she thinks it looks bad for her that she was like not supervising her.
I just wouldn't want that life of like having to like be super like I'm already like very like particular about the stuff that I post and I'm a nobody. Like I wouldn't want to have that level of scrutiny wherever. How many times do we see things about her Photoshop fails? Like where people are like, look at this Photoshop. It's so
weird because she
awful.
pays people to Photoshop
Yeah.
it for her and they still mess it up.
She gets them off Fiverr whatever.
Yeah.
she's Kim Kardashian. Like, see, that's the fanfic.
She's like,
I'm
edit
writing.
out my rib cage.
That's the fanfic I'm writing in my head right now. It's Kim Kardashian's really cheap and like finds her Photoshop artists on Fiverr because she just doesn't want to pay a really, really good Photoshop artist.
The way you become a millionaire is not spending it.
Yeah, it's like
she's-
they're cheap. That's how
Did she
you
say
become-
that?
No.
Or did Dave Ramsey say that?
Dave Ramsey probably, yeah.
That would be well, he would say that after telling you to not go to Starbucks.
One of my ex-girlfriends called to the Dave Ramsey show and they had like a huge fight.
Whoa.
It was
What
awesome.
was
About
the
what?
fight about? Was she right?
She I mean,
Probably not.
Was Dave Ramsey right?
she kind of was. She bought like a nice house, and he was like, "What's your
Why
sal-"
would you do that?
Yeah, he's like,
Why
"What?"
wouldn't you live in a utility shed?
Basically, and she was like, "Oh, it's it's already overvalued where I normally bought it, and I bought it at a great time, and I got the money and the security." He's like, "You're stupid."
Damn.
Do you think like I have a friend who loves Dave Ramsey, but I think the reason he loves Dave Ramsey is because he likes hearing him be mean to other people. Like, it's like
Yeah.
it's
Like, what was that radio show back in the day where this woman was just like totally like razz?
Ramseys
bitches?
are
Like,
assholes. There's Gordon Ramsay,
Is it Dr. Laura?
I don't know.
Laura
Something-
Ramsey.
It was something like that where like women would call in with their relationship problems and she would be like, "You're the problem. You're the problem."
It's well, that's what people do. Like, the idea is supposed to be like you need the harsh criticism, so you need somebody to tell you that you're the problem. Isn't that what Dr. Phil does to some people? I was like, have you ever seen that one
Yeah.
where Dr. Phil, where the guy's like, "Why would I talk to my mom? She's got no followers." on the
I love
internet.
that
that
one.
can't be real.
That was
It-
so
it
fake.
felt
That can't be
fake to me,
real.
but it's just like, and then like Dr. Phil's reaction is everybody's reaction to that, but like you need somebody.
His
to
mom is
actually-
like in on it for sure.
Like-
The thing about Dr. Phil is he just says common sense things like you can't do that, and people are like, "Oh my god, this guy!
You
What a
can't do
sage!"
that.
don't spend money.
Remember Dr.
Yeah,
Phil's
oh my God,
son's
really?
creepy mansion?
No.
That was
No.
like Illuminati as F. Like he literally had like the checkered floors and the spiral staircases and the weird like children's art pieces and like like look up like Dr. Phil's son's house because it's super creepy.
There's a great video that I saw this weekend that I posted where it's like it's an influencer zombie so this lady's like at the mall and she's like on her phone. So it's like, "Hey, how much does your apartment cost in Los Angeles?" She goes, $2,500. And he goes, "Oh," and then it like feeds the influencers who start asking her questions. He's like, "Can I come see it?" She says, No, you can't come see it. And then another person comes like, "What's your body count?" And then suddenly she's surrounded by people putting their phone in her face. And
Yeah.
a guy comes in with a Nerf gun. They're at a mall and like grabs him, starts shooting the influencers. She gets like scratched by someone. And then finally like they get to the car and she starts asking him questions and put the phone in his face. It's that's the world we live in now.
I love that Gen Z has completely given up on being productive. They're just like, "What's your body count?" B word.
Well, no, that's like that was that Gary V video. There was a Gary V video
God, I
where he's
really wish
talking
we
about
could
how
be
he's like,
rated R sometimes.
that Gary V's like Gen Z's great at selling, at being influencers.
They got hustle.
Well, it's like, well, yeah, but how many people can really be
They
social
grind.
media influencers?
Can't work out for everyone.
Millions.
No, it can't. Like you said, and that's a sad thing, right? Like everyone's like wants to do it, and then you realize that just some people just get lucky. Like there are people who are legitimately great at it, and then there's some people that get huge followings, and it's like, where did that following come from? Are they really all that engaging? Maybe they had one or two videos that was really, really good, but the rest of them are just kind of average. But in general, it's kind of a crapshoot. Like, how do people end up there?
In summary, this is very creepy what North is doing.
I would never
Agree.
dress up like either of my
It's very Freudian.
very Freudian. All right, let's go. We got some super chats.
Big Dave said,
Big Dave.
"I vote Dane for the boys."
There you go.
Thank you, man.
He's adjacent to you because his name
And
is Dave.
guys, if you still want to vote for Mary or Dane for who has the best hair today, that poll is still open. It will be open till the end of the fourth topic.
I mean, at this point, just save me. You know.
Darth Doza said, "I want to bring attention to the fact that the PCC cast is awesome."
that's a good one to. That's a good
Thank you
cause
for bringing
to,
awareness.
for bringing awareness to that. That's good. All right, Dane, you've got you found something great for us. First of all, I want to mention that everybody else was talking about limited run games and the social media manager there who ended up getting fired because she was a conservative Christian, and we were thinking about covering it, but Dane brought this to my attention. I thought this was really interesting
This is way better
with the sexy voice.
Why are we
apparently.
whispering?
because it's sexy. Okay, guys. So this is a story about video games, lies, deceit, betrayal, theft, crimes. All
Mainly
this.
theft, though.
All
Mainly
of our
theft.
favorite
Hey.
things.
Big part theft. Big chunk is theft.
Okay.
Okay, so there's this guy. His name is Arturo Sanchez, alias NYC Furby.
Interesting name.
Yeah. He is, I guess, still an iconic member of a particular sect of the video game community, specifically fighting games. He would run the streams for the tournaments. He was in cahoots with like the biggest streamers of fighting game tournaments. He will run all types of games. He is a really good player in his own right.
But he was more known for running these tournaments.
He was more known for being a player,
Okay.
and now recently for being a streamer and a tournament organizer. Okay, so the thing is, a couple of years ago, he makes this partnership with a company called Matcherino. That I'm all Latin pronouncing it, but you guys catch my drift. Matcherino, whatever. America.
That was weird hearing him do both pronunciations.
Matcherino, America. And the point is, this is a system where you could put a coupon code or something, and the company donates a certain amount of money. And for, if you get a higher pot for your tournament, the more incentive, the more people are going to want to participate. It ups the stakes to know this match is for $10,000, makes it more sexy. Okay. So the point is, he's running all these tournaments, and allegedly, because we're learning, he is stealing prize money.
So he's just stealing it right out of the pot.
How's that even possible?
So because
is it like a really elaborate?
He's one of the tournament organizers. And his excuse was that some people, by the way, he works for the company. He's an advocate for the company. And he says, well, some people want to participate in those tournaments, but they don't have a Matcherino account. So I put the money in my PayPal and then I send it to them.
It's such a scam.
Yeah. And I forget the sending part.
Such a scam.
And
forgot innocently. It was just an innocent little mistake.
Oh my God,
it was
so
just
toxic.
It was a little boo-boo. He was just being like a toxic thief that day.
And by the way,
but the road, it's always going to run out. Like there's a time limit on something like this. You only get away with this for so long.
He's just a criminal with low impulse control.
He did it for 5 years.
How is that possible?
And just in like smaller amounts.
So that's the thing. So he was genuinely a very iconic person in the community. He was kind of the quintessential New York guy.
Well, and that's a problem too, because like we've talked about before, having name recognition means that he's going to be considered more trustworthy to people, which does not actually ring true in the real world. Just because you're better known does not mean you're more trustworthy.
What do you mean by quintessential New York guy?
So there's in the fighting game community, there's like two big areas or with the best players. New York and California, as you can imagine. And New Yorkers have a style, California people have a style, and he's kind of the old guard of New York. And his play style is emulated a lot. Like I'm telling you, he's a very good, he's like a world-class player, right? But he kind of faded in the background for gaming and was doing more streams. So he was considered a tournament organizer. And now all this information is coming out where pretty much he would be super late for all events. He's not professional at all. Yeah. He's at events lose sponsors because of his lack of professionalism. He recently was streaming an event that was called Defend the North. And by the way, I talked about this on the show at the moment. I was super pissed because I was watching it, and he would run advertisements during the final match. During the, oh my God, who's going to win? Do you like Cheetos?
He would just do an ad read while they're in the middle of
But
a tournament.
I mean, and he would be like, oh, I can't turn them off. But it's not that you, first off, that's a lie. Second, you're literally putting an ad where there's the most viewers because it's the moments of highest contention. And people were calling it Defend the Ads, the event. So and basically the thing is he goes on the rounds of the local podcasts of the scene, and he's completely unprepared for the most common questions that he's going to be asked. It's like, okay, so what happened with the money? Oh, so you gave them the money. Can you give
Not
us...
even a good political answer.
Yeah,
No.
like that seems like something where you
Obfuscates
get
the
your
issue.
you get
Completely.
your answer straight ahead of time.
This guy's not media trained enough.
Not at all. His answer was literally, my dad's sick and I gotta go.
It says the reason
Did
why
he really
the
say his dad's dying?
Yeah.
So he says the reason why the payouts were late, I 100% take responsibility for this. I've had so many things going on, not only in my personal life, streams, and PC optimization for fighting games, that I did get overwhelmed, said Sanchez during the stream. Both Matcherino and Sanchez have stated that all players have been paid out at the time of this story is published. So they have since paid these people back.
So
It sounds like somebody who's just really bad, like just lazy.
that's what he
Like,
said.
It doesn't, like, to me it comes off as lazy, like not even like lazy, and maybe just thought he'd get away with it.
He didn't hide it well
Like
enough.
he's a thief, but he's lazy.
Here's the thing. He's been fired for weeks.
Okay.
And in New Year's, all this comes to light because apparently a screenshot was floating around of a guy that won a tournament. And he puts on Twitter, he's like, hey, I don't know if this is normal. And it says, Matcherino payout, first place, NYC Furby, second place, NYC Furby, third place, NYC Furby. So all him. And all his excuses start collapsing because he's like, oh, it just takes a while sending the money. The money is instant. It
Like
sends
literally,
instantly.
like, is there anything easier than sending money on the internet right now?
No. And the thing is,
Or could that be a tax thing? Could this be related to that it has to be sent through a specific account? Like, I'm trying to play devil's advocate here.
you can, the thing is, it's hard because you're getting hired by the company to be an advocate for them. And his excuse is like, well, some people don't have an account. Well, my friend, as an advocate, that's when you're like, hi, Dane Font here, advocate for Matcherino. Why don't you sign up? Like, that's literally your job. And he's like, no, I'm just make it easy for him and send it to my PayPal and never respond.
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
So has he like fully gotten away with this?
No,
Besides
no,
getting
it's
fired, like it seems like he's
not going to get in trouble.
still hiding the fact that he has
So,
like
I
he
mean,
hasn't paid them back. There's no proof that he has.
So this story is, as you can imagine, ongoing. So, I mean, I've heard everything from he stole $600 to he stole $200,000.
The 200,000 sounds like
It's a little wild.
5 years of prize spots?
Yeah, yeah. Like
5 years of it?
5 years is a
Like,
lot. of
Every
time.
day?
in small increments. I don't know. Like I didn't think
Big tournaments?
I like clicked onto a Super Smash tournament that was happening recently, and I saw that the prize money was 10,000, but this guy who's playing is on a team of, I'm sure, like 10 people at least, and he has to split it with them. Then there's taxes. It's
And
like
the organizers
there's not
and-
a lot of money to be made in this unless you have sponsors, of course. So I don't know how it could add up to that much. And also
5 years of multiple tournaments a week.
yeah.
So how much?
Skimming-
Possible.
Skimming first, second, and third prize.
Who's to say he stole every time though? Maybe he's like got some kind of thrill from it, like a gambling
Yeah.
addiction.
Yeah.
Like it's the fear that he'll be caught that keeps him.
The whole
like,
thing
Keeps
doing
him
it.
going.
Yeah.
is his persona was, his catchphrase was, streaming is a blow up, which is to insinuate like streaming is hard, which is not, and that you make very little money off it. And he would always
Unless
be
you're
like,
him.
yeah, unless you're him. And his whole thing was like, streaming is a blow up, and he would always say that. So the reason why I wanted to bring this to PCC is first, hilarious.
Yes.
Theft.
We love when bad things happen.
We love theft and we love crimes. And quote me on that. And the second thing is, so this guy was, again, iconic in the community. And he was a really good player. Or he is. He's not dead. He's a really good player. And it's one of those things is, okay, when does this guy get redemption? Like, does this guy participate in tournaments now? Like, what do we do with him? You
Yeah,
know?
does he get to continue to play, just not part of Matcherino?
Yeah, clearly don't let him near the money.
Yeah, as long as he has no authority whatsoever. But also, I think him using the excuse of like, oh, my like parent is sick and dying is like really gross and manipulative.
Yeah.
And everyone can see through it, but he really tried that one.
It does feel like that's one of those ones where, like, every time like I've ever seen a company fail or like late orders are filled, it's always because something's happening, and it's always got something to do with a family member dying.
So just hearing this information, what sparks joy
What sparks joy?
out of this situation with you?
I don't know. I kind of wish he got away with it.
I mean, he was for a
Like
while.
and then he wrote an article from another country after he escapes and says, and I got away with it, and none of you can stop me.
I want him to be roommates.
I've transferred the money offshore.
I want him to be like prison roommates with the FTX guy.
And Bernie Madoff is in the cell next to him.
He has
They all
kind of
hang
the
out
same
together.
hair, which is hilarious.
Yeah, like white collar criminals are truly unique personalities.
Like Madoff was back in the news because they were talking about how he took money from the mob or something like that, and I just it's like it's kind of coming back, right? Like financial crimes. Remember 2009?
So
Remember
fun.
the recession? Remember Occupy Wall Street? What a vibe! That was a different time, guys. Like this is like Occupy Wall Street and high crimes for video game streamers.
The thing is, again, he was. It's just what I really the conversation I really want to inspire is when does he get redemption? Because he's such a cornerstone of the community, and he was working on so many projects. He was streaming. He was a player. He was a particularly
So
good
it's
player.
a big deal because he's influential in the
And
scene.
not super influential, and not only that, he was kind of trying to take it to the next level, because one of the things he would do was a big issue that the gaming community has is online play, and the online play not being particularly good because of delay. And he was working on different settings on computers to see if we can fix this issue so that the competitive community, can have their time to shine. And for me, it's just that this is like the nichest area of the community,
Yeah.
and they just keep getting kicked in the groin.
They can't catch a break.
No, like Street Fighter 5 sucked, and Street Fighter 6 is gonna take forever to come out.
I
And-
do want to know, like, why is there this perceived distinction between Super Smash tournaments and fighting game tournaments? Like, is Super Smash not a fighting game?
So that's literally the biggest joke and debate in the community.
It's
I
a
think
joke of a debate because it literally is a fighting game.
Yeah,
right?
because I think the people that care about Smash only care about Smash.
Sure.
So they don't care about the genre; they care about that game.
Right, and versus the
That makes
fighting
sense.
game players care about every fighting game except Smash.
They're versatile. Well, why
Pretty
don't
much.
they? Why don't
I
they
love
like
it. I
Smash?
I don't know.
love the
I
idea
like
that
Smash.
those types of like little distinctions are what fuel the funniest,
Our
longest,
tribalism.
like the most ridiculous fights come out of the smallest differences. It's kind of like in our nature as people. So it's like, is that really a huge distinction? No, not to somebody not initiated, but to them, it's a huge distinction and fuels hours upon hours of Mountain Dew fueled debates on the internet.
I like
and love it.
stupid debates like that as well. Yeah, because it takes away from the drudgery of like people who are angry about things online to the point where they're just generally like like they're just maladjusted and
Yeah.
way overly invested in these things. Like they call it a life or death situation if they're getting bullied for being overweight, for instance. But like, why don't you just have like a friendly debate about like video games or movies or something?
Yeah,
Like
you
why
know,
does it have to be so serious
I
all
agree.
the time?
Especially when you're so niche that, everyone's watching the shooters and the Fortnites and X and Y. No one cares. There's not really mass appeal for fighting games. I can't say no one cares. I care. But the thing is, they have an event every year. It's called Evolution. It's like the World Championships. A couple of years in a row, it was like one of the most watched gaming events. And then every other stream, no one cares.
Yeah.
So it's like you guys should build, like, make all your friends you can and build yourselves up.
It's just a funny thing that those debates are fueled by the internet, because like it's kind of like when they talk about college, like debates are not like issues in the universities among like tenured professors. Like it's important because the stakes are so small.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's like the less important it is, the more people fight about it.
And speaking of that, like since the prize pool money is relatively low and
Super low.
you need sponsors in order to make this a living for yourself, which a lot of them
No one is dude, there's like 10 people in the whole world.
there's
that are
like
making a
this
living off
pipe
this.
dream that you can like make a living off of being a professional
Yeah, but not these
competitive
games.
gamer, but
Yeah,
like
yeah.
not in this niche corner of it. But like you can't even have like a lucrative hobby without sponsors. So that's where I see some pushback on doing the ad reads when the views are the highest during the most contentious points. Like, you can't really fault them for that.
No, that's messed up.
You think so?
Like, well, what is he supposed to do? Because
Dude,
they need to
playing an ad during the last seconds of a tournament. Like, literally the last match, last round.
Yeah.
Ad, press ad.
Maybe it should be immediately after it's over.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
it's not
but
like it's like the bottom of the ninth, 2 out, 3-2 count
Yeah,
during baseball.
like
It is
and they're
annoying.
like-
I'm,
Like
not,
the
I'm not
pitch-
denying that. It's
Yeah.
annoying.
The pitch is about to come out, and it's like, do you like Ritz crackers? It's like, what? Who won?
Well, it's a funny
I
thing.
don't
Like WWE does that. Like when WWE does like television, they now do ads in the middle of matches. So imagine you're a wrestler and you're having this great match, and they just cut to commercial break in the middle of the match. Like, that's so annoying.
Speaking of which,
Yeah.
let's go to Super Chats.
Let's save them. Actually, I know what you're talking
You
about.
want
Let's
to?
save them. We got a bunch more stuff I wanna talk
Yeah.
about. So Ronaldo, do you want to tell us about Ronaldo?
This
Sure.
is a weird story.
That's-
This
It's
is a
funny.
weird
It's
story,
very
is
weird.
it not? Cristiano Ronaldo is currently living in Saudi Arabia, and he wanted to live together with his girlfriend and the mother of his children, Georgina Rodriguez.
They're not married.
While he is playing in the country. And if you didn't know, the law in this country is that you are legally forbidden from living together without being married.
Mary loves that idea.
And now, yes, I do.
I know.
And I'm assuming because he has celebrity status or is like bringing in revenue to the country, they've more or less agreed
He's
to
the-
turn a blind eye to him breaking the law there and living with his girlfriend. So basically, they are bending their marriage laws to get away with this, only so that he can avoid marrying this woman
He's
who
the
is
highest-
literally living with him and having his children, which I think is kind of ridiculous.
He's the highest paid person on Instagram, if I remember correctly, like per
Ronaldo?
post. Yeah.
What?
Like he's the highest paid person.
Does he have like sponsorships with
like
brands or
per
something?
like several $1 million per post, if I remember correctly, on Instagram. So,
Yeah.
So this is one of those things where I look at it, I'm like, big deal, because I'm an American guy. But I get what you're saying.
Soccer.
Well, he's not American.
No, but I'm saying, but as far as the marriage laws, I'm like, I don't see anything wrong with living with someone. I know that you disapprove that you should not be living with someone.
It's not even necessarily that. It's first of all that he is disrespecting the native culture of the country where he is,
Playing.
he's playing, working. This is his job.
Yeah.
And he is openly disrespecting the values of their country, which we've talked about related to the World Cup in Qatar, how all of these Westerners come over there and try to push their like tolerance, inclusivity stuff onto this culture, which is objectively just not tolerant or inclusive.
Yeah.
And even in ways that are just really beyond the pale, like those women who were like flashing the cameras in front of children in Qatar, knowing that they could literally get killed for doing so. I think there's a lot of like cultural imperialism going on there, and it's not a safe situation.
It is funny how we always talk about how we were supposed to stop exporting our values everywhere unless it's the values people think are the right ones to export.
Right. Yeah. So
We're supposed
I think
to be-
this is a case of that. And secondly, I think it's also a public embarrassment for his girlfriend, because in every other way, they obviously are like life partners, and he would rather literally break the laws of a country that's hosting him
Then marry her.
than marry her just to like maybe avoid getting executed.
Maybe he signed like a form saying like, look, we're getting married, but we're not getting married till this date next year. Sorry,
Sorry,
I can't-
babe. If you get stoned because I don't want to marry you,
my
like,
God.
you know, them's the them's the breaks. Like, sorry about that, babe. Even though you have my children.
It's funny too, because like all of like the really really like lame like wealth building Instagram pages have like stuff about like finding the right partner. It like helps elevate you as a business person. They always use him as like an example,
People keep saying he makes $131,000 a day.
like on Instagram posts or
Dude,
something like
that's
that. Yeah, like he
insane.
makes an insane amount of money. Like he's a very very popular person. Football, as they call it, is the most popular sport in the world.
That's what's puzzling to me, because there are obviously legal ways to protect your wealth while at the same time getting married to someone, but instead he just chooses not to like go there at all, even when
wonder
this
what-
country with like Saudi Arabia is like I mean, people don't realize this because they don't do their research, but like Saudi Arabia has very oppressive laws.
Yeah.
And you're literally putting your safety at risk to openly defy them.
Yeah.
Maybe the country is turning a blind eye simply because he brings revenue. But
that,
other
like-
people would not be getting away with this.
Like he wouldn't be able to like just buy them like houses right next to each other. I feel like he could like he's got
do
the
a lot of
money. He could, like,
things,
he could just buy them. He could buy an apartment complex and just live in the apartment. Like he could take the top floor.
Most of these reactions were like clowning on him because they're saying
feel bad for her.
They're childhood friends. They got married, had another cute kid, and they live happily together since then. By the way, they never needed to bend a law just because of his fame, and he never put excuses to not marry her just because he thinks that she will divorce him and take his money.
And I guess is what they're saying, that the prenup wouldn't hold and that he wouldn't be able to keep his money.
I mean, there's always a possibility of that, I guess.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, if you know someone for your whole life and you've been together for 10 years, do you not trust them enough?
That's, I mean, might have trust issues, like severe trust issues. Right?
I like when these things happen in the public eye and everyone starts talking about these things that affect everyone, not just celebrities. Like,
yeah.
This is a conversation. Like, is marriage just a piece of paper? Does it mean something?
Is he religious? Does anybody know if he's religious? I don't know if he's religious.
He might
I'll
be.
text him.
If you should ask him.
Yeah.
You guys' phone number?
Here, let me look it up.
Yo, Ronnie.
It would be. Look,
call
I
him
get
Ronnie.
it. In the world we live in now, it is a huge gamble, especially if you have a lot of wealth amassed, to get married in a culture that's extremely vapid, self-centered, and loyalty isn't really given the same level of respect that it used to, where he could feel like he's putting a lot of hard work at risk by marrying someone and then having that money taken from him.
But does he live
it
there
says
now?
that he has been raised Christian and the majority of his fan base is Muslim.
So it's one of those things where it's like, it really feels like it's like, can you trust anybody when that much money is at stake?
Yes.
You think so?
Yeah, I mean, of course
Okay.
so. I'm like pro-marriage, obviously.
Yeah.
So
I'm just saying that what his circumstances aren't the norm. Like, let's face it, his marriage and the marriage of a plumber and the county librarian is not the same thing when it comes to finances, temptation.
I mean, this woman has literally given her body to having this man's children. I don't think there is that great of a risk involved.
I don't know.
And clearly
man.
they've been with each other for a very long time. This is an investment that like needs to be recognized, and marriage is not just,
Look, maybe I'm just like more
because you're not
cynical,
religious.
but but also just more cynical, I guess. Like I would have more trust issues in this case. Like, not to say that I wouldn't want it to work out, right? Like, I'm optimistic in the sense that you want something like this to work out, but I understand where the reservation comes from. I do.
Sure.
I get
But
it.
I think
mean,
a
how
lot
much
of
money is
people
too much
who-
money?
I think a lot of people who see this story, like put themselves in the place of Ronaldo, and they think like, yeah, that's right. Like, I'm just like him. And it's like, your life
You're
is
not.
literally nothing
Well, that's why
like Ronaldo's.
That's why I made the comparison.
It's
I said his life experience, what he's going through, isn't that of the local plumber
Sure.
and the guy who married the county librarian. His is a circumstance that most people will never understand.
That's
So
what
I
annoys.
can't-
Sorry,
No, go ahead.
that's what annoys me as well, as about the red pill dater guys.
Yeah,
It's-
we were talking about
The
that earlier.
manosphere.
Yeah, it's so annoying. They're like, well, if I'm a 500 feet giga chad that makes $1 million
So you're
a
not talking to the
microsecond.
Instagram thoughts, and the Instagram
Yeah.
thoughts aren't talking. Yeah, like it's like what like
These
most
aren't
of
your
the
circumstances.
a lot of the advice that an Andrew Tate or a Coach Greg or like any of these people give you are good advice if you're a wealthy person and you have tons of options. That's not everybody's life experience, right? Like, most of these people aren't. It's not that you're not high value, but you're not making the money that would attract someone like the people they're talking to in these segments. And a lot of that stuff is fodder, right? When they have the women on who are like, I got my money right. And he's like, the guy makes $1 million a year. He doesn't care if you've got your money right. That's not a concern that average people have.
Yeah.
It's not. Most people don't live in a world where there's only single income households anymore. Most people have to work alongside their spouse in the real world, because it's just the way the world is now. We just don't have enough income. Like most people don't have the income to be able to have a stay-at-home wife.
A lot of people were calling this out because they think it's disrespectful to Islamic values, but other people said like it's kind of hypocritical that like instead of calling out this law for the people that it actually is enforced on their behalf, you're instead just like asking the country to turn a blind eye to your defiance of it.
And he's allowed to because he has money.
Right. It just seems messed up.
But the same thing happened, like you said, the same thing
He's got
happened
so much money though.
over the World Cup. Like it just feels like the West and Western values have kind of encroached on other places and are telling them like but then to be fair, they also bent the knee, right? They let those women go. And they're going to let him in and do this. So we're making our impact culturally in other countries. Whether that's the right thing or not isn't for me to say.
I mean,
but
Hollywood is.
But it is happening, right? Like Hollywood and that aspect of America is importing their values elsewhere. You wouldn't even necessarily call this a Western value. This is just a rich person value. A Western value wouldn't necessarily say this because in the West, like I'd like what percentage of the population is still married? Like we still have high marriage rates, just low or high divorce rates as well, right?
Dude, what was that alarming statistic?
Not high marriage rates, but we have average marriage rates, but high divorce rates now.
Was the statistic 50% of women over 30 are single or something?
Something like that.
That's single and no kids.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We have our own problems. Saudi
Yeah.
Arabia has
Yeah.
their own problems. I just think that we need to let go of like, not us personally, but like we as Westerners need to let go of this delusion that we can force our way of life onto other parts of the world. Like I was just this is like kind of unrelated, but I was just like watching this episode of 90 Days where this woman is a single mother and a stripper. And she is talking online with a man who does not speak English, who is a Muslim man from Algeria. He has a problem with the fact that she's a stripper. And she's like, I don't know, I just think he's different. And then her mom is like, you know that country is like not habitable for you, right? And she's just like, Mom, those are just the extreme parts.
Oh
like you don't understand. And it's like, no, you don't understand that America is not the world.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't get that.
It's just that's not how it is. Maybe you want it to be that way, but
there was a couple that was gonna backpack. We're gonna backpack through the most violent places in the world just to show that the world's full of love. They died in the first stop. They died on the first stop.
It was like
where were they?
I don't remember.
Why Iran should be on every single woman's to travel list. It's like, who wrote this? Human trafficking?
Human Trafficking Inc.
We want you to die.com.
The head of worldwide human trafficking literally wrote this post that was like a Vice article or something like that.
Yeah.
So it's they're asking like it's
come
like,
to this abandoned warehouse.com.
in my statements by the way on marriage, like look, I've never been married. I've never been in a relationship that's been that close to something like that, right? But I do understand that that our values in the West are different from the values around the world. People were kind of questioning me, saying like it's like people can be stay at home. It just takes you have to understand your family's priorities. It's kind of like I was talking to someone recently, and I had a really interesting discussion where we were talking about, look, now given all I know that's going on in the world, just from working here and being aware politically of how things are, I wouldn't be able to be in a relationship now, get married and have kids and not have homeschooling be on the table. It has to be on the table now. Like it's no longer something.
You can't unsee.
It's not something that I could just turn a blind eye to.
That was like the second real conversation I had.
Like it would have to be a thing. Like it's like I wouldn't be able to and the person you're with might not understand. Like I don't know if I would you'd have to understand and explain to them like, look, this is going on, this is going on, this is going on. We have to at least entertain the idea of homeschooling our kids. You can't look away from that stuff once it's on the table. So I don't know. But nobody else is getting away with this unless they're in his tax bracket. They're just not.
Sure. I just think about what message does that send to
the rest of the world,
this woman specifically? Like,
okay, so you're worried. You're like, okay.
I wasn't thinking about her at all.
I wasn't thinking about I wasn't really thinking about my assumption.
We've been together for a decade. I've also known you since we were children, and you still think that I'm a gold digger Like, that's very insulting.
I mean, but
to
we
the
also
mother of
have
your children.
We have no understanding of what their relationship is like.
Sure.
Like, there could be this, for all we know, this could be something they've discussed at length and have come to an understanding. Now, how much of that is her just accepting it?
Complying.
Because like, I don't know. I can't say. But it's not fair. I don't think
yeah.
it's fair to assume that they haven't at least had this discussion. It could be one of those things where they're waiting till he retires.
I don't know.
Maybe they.
I mean, I don't agree with that because I don't think that it's just a formality. I think it fundamentally changes a relationship to be married or not.
Okay. I mean, like, is this one of those things like he's waiting? He's like, I can't commit to you, and like we can't commit to marriage until I've retired and I'm no longer playing. I mean, that's a cope. It's a cop out. But it's like I'm trying to think like what the logical explanation on his part would be as to why they can't get married.
I can't do it until I win a World Cup.
It could also be maybe they're just not interested. Maybe she's not interested in marriage.
Highly doubt.
Yeah.
Highly
Okay,
doubt.
hey, I'm just saying, like, hey,
And if she says she is,
if
I
we're in
still
the
highly
age,
doubt.
if we are in the age of the strong, independent woman that don't need no man, that has been corrupted by a society that tells them they don't need anything from a dude, am I supposed to believe that that's not a possibility?
Brett, you should know better than taking anyone on their word. It's 2022.
I'm not taking
23.
anyone.
I think we're
literally-
projecting too much onto like these two people as archetypes of.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like
larger
it's like so. The simplest explanation is that he doesn't want to get married and she does. But I also think that that's a pretty basic understanding of how things would be. Like that's a pretty generalized idea. There could be a lot more nuance to this than what we know. Mm-hmm. Just saying.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Naturally, the risks that come with
Yeah.
working in a third world
I
country.
mean, you make $131,000 a day. Apparently, you can get a good lawyer.
Yeah,
he
that's
can
true.
He can afford it. All right, there's a couple of more things here, guys. Bad Bunny is back in the news because he
Still on a rampage.
Okay, if you guys remember when we covered this before, I actually wanted to talk about this one more than I let on. When we talked about this one before, somebody in the comments was saying, "Hey man, he could have just been having a really bad day. You can't tell by his body language that he's, what if he's just, having
poor
a bad
little
day?"
millionaire.
Well,
He
well,
just
you
is
know
having
what?
a bad day.
He's not just having a bad day because he just wants to go around and take people's phones and throw them because he's Bad Bunny and he's just a jerk. Like, he picks it, throws it. Like
Now he's just looking for attention.
yeah, like he's like look, like are we supposed to not understand that they're famous celebrities and that they're just scumbags? That they're just scumbags.
And what's crazy is that those people holding their phones weren't even pointing them in his face.
he
They were
just-
just existing around him with phones.
By the way, guys, the poll is finished. It is Mary 72%, Dane 27%.
Directly reverse the
Directly
numbers.
reversed the numbers.
Whoa,
Dane,
Illuminati.
Dane, it was
How
a good,
many votes did we get?
It was 449 votes, guys. Thank you for
All right.
voting. Look,
It's fair and square.
maybe what it is, Bad Bunny just hates cell phones. Maybe he just really hates phones.
Maybe he is like one of the acolytes of Ted Kaczynski.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
He like follows his
anti-technology.
his ideology.
Yeah.
He's actually a Luddite and he just hates handheld
like
devices
like when
like
his
that.
when his handlers are like, "You were the number one on Spotify," he doesn't actually know what that means. He's like, "What the hell is Spotify?" He's like, "You were the number one streamer on Spotify." He's like, "I haven't streamed anything. What are you talking about? I don't know what that means."
I was hearing an interview that he had about it. He was like, "Listen, sometimes people have bad days, and I don't like disrespect."
Look,
And
Yeah.
he was like, "Say hi first." I was like, "Okay, dude."
Look, that was like my argument was like, look, I understand that people have bad days, but he wasn't walking like a dude who was slinking off to have a bad day. Call me a body. I'm not a body language expert, but he was just being a dick. He was just being a dick.
And then it was disputed whether or not the phone landed in the water.
As
on
if
the
that
first
matters.
time.
That's not
But
what
that's
I'm
not
supposed
really
to-
the point.
It's like,
you
I don't
know?
care if he threw it onto a puffy cloud or into a ball pit. Like, I care that he picked up somebody else's personal property, an expensive piece of personal property. Hey, $1,000 might not be a lot to Bad Bunny, but
I mean, if he's looking to make a point, take out your own phone and start recording the person who is recording you.
yeah, find a better
and
way
see
of
how
doing
they feel about that.
this. Like, I'm just saying, like $1,000. Like, what is the average? Like, the lady had like an iPhone.
Yeah.
It cost $1,000 or more.
He's
like,
sorry. He's such an interesting public figure for me. Obviously because he's from Puerto Rico, but beyond that, it's because he's supposed to be subversive, but he's on like the Macy's Day Parade.
Well,
You know
I
what
mean,
I'm saying?
the thing is, like, we're in a culture now that thinks you're subversive
He's, like,
while being
flossing with
advertised
Ninja.
by Pfizer and Moderna. Like, it's really funny, like, the amount of cognitive dissonance that goes into people who think they're fighting the system
Yeah.
while being promoted by the system.
Dane, what is your read on like public opinion of Bad Bunny from Puerto Ricans?
Dude, it's a cult.
Really?
Do tell.
No,
They just
it's
support
that.
everything he does and says.
It's women. It's like Pete Davidson, but with him. Like, he's so handsome. I can't.
I mean, he looks
even
better
deal.
than Pete Davidson. I'll give
Well,
him that.
good. Okay.
But that's a very low bar.
That's an opinion.
Also, he had the thing where he came. Did he come out as non-binary, or was like he wore like a
Seriously?
dress or something
mean,
to a?
who
He wore a
cares?
dress or something to an award show, and was saying that he was like because of pushing back against masculinity. I'm like, wow, if that isn't a
What
handler,
male celebrity has not done that
know.
exact same
And
stunt?
I gotta
already?
say, in terms, so a lot of chicks like. That's why I compare it to Pete Davidson, because a lot of chicks like him, and it's specifically for those androgynous, like pro-woman stunts.
yeah,
And in fairness, chicks in Latin American countries get sexually harassed probably more aggressively than over here in good old America. So, I guess it's a bit more viable when he says it.
Yeah.
I guess it speaks
Do you
for a
think-
community that
he's just
Do you think that there's just a different conception of like what respect looks like in
You-
that culture
you know.
than
There's
ours?
there's all kinds of people. You know, that's.
he just feels like part of the machine to me. Like
Oh, he is. He's
just
a product,
He's literally
baby.
yeah, like he's a product. He's literally supposed to be like ignore the fact that your life is miserable. Hey, here I'll crap on the boomers. Ignore the fact that you can't buy a house. Ignore the fact that nothing is going well. Consume our product. Our product being Bad Bunny music.
Yeah.
Like
Still can't name a single song.
couldn't
by the
tell
way.
you a single song of Bad Bunny's. If like earlier, like we were talking about who's the band that we were talking about earlier, and I was like, I've never heard of
Cage
them.
the Elephants.
Cage. I was like, I have no idea who that was. Like, I couldn't name you one of their songs, and I couldn't name you a Bad Bunny song. But I know a corporate shill when I see one, and he's absolutely part of the machine. Like it is. It feels like they just show up one day. Like one day somebody just appears out of nowhere, and they've got millions of followers and millions of streams on their music, and you're like, who?
Yeah.
Like,
I don't
who-
know. It makes me feel out of touch.
It's like, and that's what that should be even more scary. Like the fact that it's like, imagine being like our age, Dane, and we're like, we feel out of touch, and Mary's saying that, and she's like, she's 22 or
He became popular the second I left Puerto Rico. He was like a psyop for
Just in time.
for Puerto Ricans to cope with my non-presence,
yeah.
Yeah. So you used to be the Bad Bunny.
basically.
They literally they had to find a way to keep people from rioting and rising up against the government when you left. So they created Bad Bunny.
Yeah,
It's also just a weird name
they got
know, for someone who's macho.
Yeah. Well, he's not macho
Fake
now.
macho.
Fake
sexually
macho.
ambiguous cashier.
Yeah. So it's just like it just feels
It's always
like,
those like gender ambiguous, androgynous looking men that always feel like invading people's personal space. It's kind of weird.
now I need to
Weird
see.
pattern that we're seeing with that. What are you looking up?
I want to see if I was right about that or if I was misremembering that, if it was Bad Bunny. Yeah, Bad Bunny redefining masculinity.
Yeah, it was him.
Yeah. so
You
it was-
can't just say that every male celebrity is redefining masculinity.
Yeah.
It can only be one of them.
Dude, my Facebook that day, he got that video. It was all the girls being like, "Oh my god, iconic."
I mean, it's like David Bowie was a thing a long time ago. Sorry, this has already been done.
Yeah,
Like,
not that I think
Imagine.
masculinity should be redefined
Yeah.
anyway, but like if that's what you're trying to do in 2022,
you're failing.
Mary, what do
Yeah,
you
no.
want masculinity to be?
I mean, what it actually is.
What
It's
is it
about
actually?
like the capacity to be a father, to protect, to provide.
To throw someone's phone in a river or a lake or a fountain, that's masculinity.
That's like so macho.
That's the opposite of toxic masculinity.
Wow.
That's healthy masculinity when you just
no,
take
not
someone's
really.
phone
But
and
I
you
mean,
throw
like
it into a river.
that's what roid rage looks like, and
Yeah.
roid rage is hella feminine.
Interesting.
I mean, it literally is.
It-
It's like
yeah,
reducing the
estrogen,
testosterone in your body so that you start like you have like the I can't say this term, but like the you know what strength of like a man on steroids, but
Oh,
then
yeah.
the emotional capacity of like a hysterical woman.
We need like see when if they talk about redefining masculinity, we just need somebody to be like, I want to be a father, and I want to be married to the same woman for the next 60 years, and I want 2.5. Literally, I want the old American dream and to protect my family. But you can't say that anymore because you can't even have families anymore because families are bad.
I mean, even the American dream kind of distorted it. It's
Again,
been going on for a long time.
But again, it's kind of like Lizzo. Like, nobody actually. People are just saying it, and then they go on believing normal stuff. But the thing
like
is,
Brad Pitt wearing a kilt.
Well, it's like those women who said that they would never date a beta male, even though they rail against alpha males. Like there was a survey of the women.
Who was that?
As I don't know, it was like a survey in like Vice or something where like they basically said that they weren't attracted to beta men, even though they think that toxic masculinity is like a big problem.
because it's super disingenuous.
Yeah,
Or
it's
it's
cognitive dissonance.
Yeah, well,
exists.
it's the women, the plus size models who admit that they would never date a plus sized man.
But you know it's
The plus size female models who said that they would never be attracted to a plus size male.
that's the issue with a lot of these arguments. Like, well, they never date nice guys. Well, you know, this person's nice. He's just also not morbidly obese.
Yeah.
You know,
So I still say Bad Bunny is a psyop.
He is.
Because it's just
Avatar 2, psyop. Bad Bunny, psyop. Billie Eilish, psyop.
Now,
Everything is a psyop.
Now what
Everything
we
is a
need
psyop.
is like an Avatar movie starring Bad Bunny with a soundtrack by Billie Eilish. And
We
I
should
know
have-
the slogans of this show are like, we're part of the problem. Everything is a psyop. What else?
It's all a psyop, all of it. When
Waffles, pancakes, and
Jeffree
fresh
Star is a psyop. Bad Bunny is a psyop. The Illuminati is a psyop.
I don't know. I at least like Jeffree Star.
Fair enough.
I'm favorable to him.
It's so I think Bad Bunny throwing more phones in the waters. It wasn't water this time. Maybe there was because there was no fountain there. He like looked around for a fountain and couldn't find one.
I mean, if someone else gets the phone close to him, they gotta have some,
Yeah.
you know, stones.
Would there be can you think of an example of a man in Hollywood that's promoting good masculinity? Like that's
I mean,
that's of
the thing,
actual
'cause
cultural
if you think
relevance.
they are, it's obviously something they're selling,
Yeah.
so you can't trust it.
Yeah. So it'd have to be something you're living.
I
but
don't know.
not
I
talking
think
about.
that Puss in Boots is the real alpha male that we need
Yeah.
on the big screen.
Tell
guys.
everyone. Tell
Mary's
everyone.
been shilling Puss in Boots.
I
all day.
watched Puss in Boots over the weekend, and I'm not gonna lie, guys, I absolutely loved it. I think that he is like unironically a great male lead and kind of helping Brett's case that we need more animals
Yeah.
in movies
Yeah.
instead of people.
No human characters for at
He-
least 10 years.
He has
Nothing
this
but
like
animal characters.
really cute like romantic subplot with this other cat, like this girl cat. They have history. It's like, you know, it's very deep and it's very dramatic. And then like all of the visuals were absolutely stunning. Like,
glowing
not
right
gonna
now.
lie, I don't even care about, you know, I don't care about like graphics and stuff like
Yeah.
that most of the time. But it's when I notice it that when they can make me notice it, I love it. I also saw a preview for Across the Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
And I thought that choppy animation style that just looks like they should have made twice as many frames as they did.
Yeah.
It doesn't work for the whole movie in general, but
For the trailers, it works.
but like for Puss in Boots, they just used that same animation style for all of the high action
Yeah.
like fight scenes, and then it was normal the rest of the time, but it was like really, it looked amazing. It really did. Like, I recommend it highly.
More
But-
than Bad Bunny? If you had to choose between Puss in Boots and a Bad Bunny album, which one do you pick?
Puss in Boots
All the way.
album.
But-
I mean, he's a better singer.
By the way, the biggest segue of all time. So in chat, they were talking about positive male roles, and a lot of people are saying the guy from Dirty Jobs. For me, that's more toxic boomerlinity.
Boomerlinity?
Because like, guys, he
What?
just goes and films people doing hard jobs.
I mean, I don't see anything wrong with promoting that.
I know, but it's more like boomer. You know, like we have grit. We went to the moon.
But is
did
everyone
things.
he's showing old?
I mean, I don't know. I don't watch that show.
So it's like the idea is like he's not, if as long as he's showing younger people that they can do hard jobs too, and that it's it's something that you can strive to do, and that you don't need to be an influencer to be relevant in culture. Because if you're, like I said, if you have a family and your family relies on you to be the head of the household, you go to work every day, you do this, you do that, that's important too. We live in a culture that doesn't promote that. It promotes being an influencer.
I know, but he's so dismissive of normal people. He's like, you and your city jobs where you sit in front of a computer. I'm sorry, are you like chopping trees?
There is a problem,
sir,
with people who are like I don't like it when people say get a real job to people who have like a lot of times they'll say that, even when they say that to streamers. I'm like, look, they've found, whether we think that they do a good job or not is irrelevant. They have found a market for something and they're filling that need, right? Mm-hmm.
I'm in my upset chat era with my takes.
You are.
What are they mad about?
I know they love this guy. They love the.
I don't like the idea that we tell people to get a real job. I've always thought that that's a super lame. Like when people say get a real job, what they mean is get a job you'll hate. Like I hate.
Yeah,
my job.
dude,
that's what they mean.
Thank you for verbalizing what I was trying to say. It's like you gotta be miserable. And you can barely look your wife in the eye because she's like, "Hey, honey, how was your day?" Like,
yeah, like when people say that, what they mean is like you have to have a. Well, no, we're not even talking about the same thing. I'm saying that like when somebody makes money on YouTube, people will say to some kid on YouTube, "Get a real job." I'm like, that kid's making 3 times the money you are. You're just upset that his job is less traditional.
People say that, and it's never true. These people aren't making 1,000 times more than. There's one electrician that makes 6 figures, you know. I'm
not giving you a specific example. I'm saying that like when they get mad at some kid on YouTube or some kid who makes money in an irregular way, they say they get a job as if that's supposed to be an insult.
Get a job.
What they mean is get a job you won't like, or get a job that has a boss that you hate.
Sell your feet pics, guys.
See, yeah, like I would never say to an OnlyFans model, get a real job, because
I would.
I know you, but it's not. But it's still making them money. Therefore, it is their job. It's get a better job. You could say get a more socially dignified job, not get a real job. Not the same thing.
Well.
No, I think that they're just debasing themselves.
But that doesn't mean it's not their job.
Like, is being
it's
a
just
carny
a bad
job?
Is being a what?
Is being a carny a job?
Yes, it is. That's actually a job. There's a literal job called carny. That's an actual thing. People used to travel. Well, I mean, they still do. The traveling circus is still a thing, right?
No, yeah.
I'm just that one always bothered me. Just like you get annoyed with boomers, I get annoyed with people who say get a real job, because I'm just like,
Thank you for defending the OnlyFans women. They're like so thankful now that you're defending the honor of their job.
You're gonna get
I like how that's
real job.
I like how that's what you focused on. The
average woman on OnlyFans makes like
just,
less than $50 a month. Or something.
Well, it's the same thing as being a SoundCloud rapper if you're a guy.
I'm just loving chat because like they're
it's literally
Dana
more
and Brett
respectable.
Are both wrong.
It's more respectable to be a SoundCloud rapper than an OnlyFans woman. I'm saying woman because I'm not allowed to say certain things on YouTube.
My point has been lost. My point was that when a boomer tells you get a real job, they mean get a job you hate.
My point is to disregard boomers entirely.
I respect that.
Thank you.
All right. I got one more thing I want to mention before we go, guys. I don't know how many people here are fans of the movie 8 Mile, but they are actually working on an 8 Mile TV series, Eminem and 50 Cent. There is potential here because, look, 50 Cent was directly involved in the production of the show Power, which is one of my favorite TV shows of all time. At least the first 4 seasons are some of my favorite seasons of TV of all time. Courtney Kemp produced that show with 50 Cent. 50 Cent is also a character in that show. I'm assuming Eminem will not play Eminem or will not play Rabbit because they're going to de-age him. Is it a prequel? Is it a continuation?
They need to de-age Eminem. You know the sad part? They can't bring back Brittany Murphy.
No, they can't. I didn't even think about that. You're right.
Because of the Illuminati.
Because they got rid of her. Yeah.
The Illuminati freaking got her.
So yes, it says we're in motion, says 50 Cent. He says 8 Mile tells the story of an up and coming rapper played by Eminem. See, I think if they do a continuation, that would be interesting, but it's not fair because it's so directly connected to Eminem's life that any continuation would have to be either autobiographical or take heavy liberties. So I say you have to either de-age him or hire a different actor. Hire that guy who does the videos that says Eminem when he stubs his toe.
The real reason they can't have Eminem is because Eminem became cringe in the meantime.
He's not Eminem anymore.
That's an awfully hot coffee pot. Can I drop it on Donald Trump? Probably not.
Ball your fist up.
Go off, King.
He's like,
Can you drop it on Donald Trump though? Can you?
So,
Is Secret Service gonna get you before you do?
He said the series will not be an exact copy of the 2002 film, comparing his upcoming series to the reimagined Fresh Prince of Bel-Air reboot. So there's room here, and I think if he gets the right producers and he gets the right people involved, I think that this could go somewhere and be really, really interesting. I don't think it should use the name 8 Mile. I think they got to come up with a better name than 8 Mile. I've been to 8 Mile.
I can't wait for there to be... because they're just like everyone's just selling out at this point. So I can't wait for there to be like a Macy's line of cutlery. It's like 8 Mile cutlery or something.
Eminem should sell his own coffee pots. Is what he should do. Called the Awfully Hot Coffee Pot.
He has a
and that weird hat he was wearing in the video.
Yeah,
did you know that, Brett?
What?
He has a spaghetti restaurant.
Yeah,
seriously?
Yeah,
it's called Mom's Spaghetti.
Yeah, it's called Mom's Spaghetti.
I mean, that's pretty awesome.
He like when it opened, he went there and like worked for the day.
Move.
We should have a PCC a restaurant where you can only eat waffles, French toast, and pancakes.
I wonder if Mom's Spaghetti like opens up around like Mr. Beast burgers and they're like together at the same time.
Mr. Beast burgers?
Yeah, Mr. Beast has Mr. Beast burgers, right?
Really?
Yeah, but they're all different because they're ghost kitchens.
Yeah, it's not like even like nothing is real anymore. It was like imagine trying to explain Mr. Beast burgers to a boomer.
I'm still waiting on the David Dobrik pizza restaurant to come out.
Like, seriously, imagine trying to explain Mr. Beast burgers to a boomer or even a Gen X person.
But what is this? You have to do a challenge before you can order.
You have to humiliate yourself before you can order.
Go to the freezer for 17 hours.
Yeah, so
you might win a free meal.
Yeah.
So, all right, I just keep your eyes open for that. I think that one could be really interesting. Just saying. Okay, Dane, my friend.
We still got a ton of super chats though.
Oh, holy crap, we do.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Johnny Derp said Dave is correct and justified in his stance against slipping in advertising. Surreptitious ads leave me speechless by Michael Knowles. That is all.
Explain
that was so many topics ago, but thank you. I am right.
Yeah, well, we skipped a lot of these for a moment. Usually Matt said Chosen season 1 and 2 are on Peacock.
There you go. Another reason to get Peacock. Peacock is the come from behind feel good story streaming hit of the year.
I'm holding out for Walmart Plus.
I know Walmart Plus could be a big deal when it comes out, but I love Peacock. I do.
Invest in Walmart Plus now, guys. They're about to take off.
Like I'm telling you, man. Like Peacock is the feel good hit of the century when it comes to streaming services. Way better than Disney Plus. Disney Plus can kick rocks, and still a better actual app than Amazon Prime.
Yeah, I bet.
Oh, the big thing. Okay, here's one of my pet peeves. I don't ever like turn my TV off. I just pause it and leave it paused for ungodly amounts of time.
That's disturbing.
The screen eventually like goes black or like turns, it says like this like the TV brand on it or whatever. But like when you pause something on Amazon Prime, if it's paused for like more than 2 minutes, like goes back to the stupid menu, then you have to turn the episode back on. I can pause something on Peacock and go skate, go to the bank, take out a loan, go grocery shopping, come back, and it's still paused.
Get married, get divorced.
Get divorced. Be Cristiano Ronaldo, get married, get divorced, lose all my money, come back, and the episode is still paused. So I can just
How I like it.
So I don't have to hit any other buttons.
I like that you're really stuck in your ways.
I am.
This is first world problems.
Somebody points out screen burn. Oh yeah, the TV is definitely not going to. Yeah, you're not wrong about that. The screen is definitely going to pay the price.
Dude.
Potatoes for Seamus said y'all left out Surge on the best hair poll.
Surge.
Well, he's not
Would
here
he have
today.
won?
I mean, definitely I wouldn't have. That's what we learned.
I also saw somebody mention Seamus. Seamus should have been brought up.
Seamus hair poll.
Seamus? Really?
Seamus.
Hypothesis said, have you guys spoke about Vince McMahon taking WWE
Yeah.
back yet? That was on
What? He did?
Friday.
On Friday, yeah, I launched into a mini rant where I talked about, look, we all knew it was going to happen, whether it was
I didn't.
WWE. Vince McMahon would rather watch WWE die than, like, if it's
At
going
his
to,
hand.
it has to die at his hand. He will not allow somebody else to kill it. So he's coming back basically either to sell off the company, but he's coming back on the board of directors, supposedly not a part of creative, which everyone knows is not true.
Yeah, okay.
Like, yeah, okay, sure. Like nobody actually buys that. And the funny thing was, I was listening to more about it. Apparently, the board of directors, which includes his own daughter, I might add, sent him a letter when he announced his intent to return and said, "We don't want you back." They said, like, look, we welcome your help with prepping a sale, but we don't want you back on the board of directors. He's like, oh, that's cute, and just ignored them.
By the way,
Like, filed the paperwork anyways.
So much of his company lied upon calling his daughter sexually promiscuous in a negative way.
Well,
Stephanie
that's
McMahon
true.
got roasted.
like, it's funny too, because it's like, Triple H and Stephanie are married in real life,
Yeah.
but their relationship started on screen as like where he roofied her and
What?
married her in a Vegas drive-through when he was a member of DX in like 98. And then like, so she's like angry and doesn't want to be married to him, obviously, because apparently he roofied her and married her like in secret. And then like at that time she was engaged to a wrestler named Test, RIP. And apparently like she turned heel. That means she became a bad guy by turning on Test and apparently liking being married to the guy that roofied her.
Oh my
Is
God.
that explained ever, really? Not really.
Well-
but yeah, like the whole thing, like the whole family is just a disaster.
I'm sure
But
this will be
I
the
kind
episode.
of love that Vince McMahon is like every bit as cartoonishly evil and control happy and obsessed with control as you would imagine him to be, because he's just always been that way. It's good to know that some things never change. Like, I like it. It's a vibe.
Potatoes for Seamus said, why the beanie, Brett? Why? I don't like change. Speaking of not liking change.
Yes, don't worry. Look, I woke up and my ears were cold.
It's winter.
It's-
What can he say?
I will go back. Don't worry. I will go back to a regular hat tomorrow. You just wait. Someday I'll wear no hat and it'll just blow everyone's mind.
Hypothesis said, Bunny's still a better heel than most modern wrestlers.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Bad Bunny does WWE. Like,
Yeah.
just like I said, doesn't make any sense. He's actually not all that awful. And
jack
is-
of all trades.
And is good at being a heel. I would like to know what Hypothesis's take is on Logan Paul, given that Logan Paul could have been a legitimate candidate for like Rookie of the Year, given that he's wrestled 3 times in his life and all 3 matches were actually really good. Granted, like the idea is like he likely had like weeks to rehearse them and get them down pat. And
he
was
really has an
wrestling-
interesting life.
and was wrestling really good wrestlers. And one of the things about wrestling is like a really mediocre wrestler can have great matches if he's working with a really great wrestler, because the great wrestler will call the match and carry them into a good performance. So, but he's also, he did a thing where he jumped off the top turnbuckle outside the ring onto the announcer's table onto Roman Reigns while filming it on his phone. It's the most
With a GoPro?
It's the most Gen Z thing you've ever seen in your entire life. It's freaking great. I mean, yeah, I know he scammed a bunch of people for a bunch of money with his NFT scam, but hey, at least he's
Wouldn't be his first rodeo. scamming
also,
people.
you can watch WWE on Peacock, the feel-good come-behind story for streaming service of the year.
And when you pause it, it just
And
stays there.
paused forever and lets you ruin your TV at your own pace.
There we go.
Oats Red Swoon said Bad Bunny is just trying to get rid of 5G. More like Good Bunny, am I right? He's just doing a public service. He doesn't want us to get poisoned and fried by the 5G towers.
I just got that.
The funnier version would be as if like he only did it to people with like old phones. Like he's actually just a huge consumerist, and like Apple's paying him to have people to throw away people's iPhone 8s.
So they have to
So they have to go upgrade. Like he's actually secretly
You'll
being
never
like,
get me, Bad Bunny.
he gets a bonus for every time he throws someone's phone and destroys it by like both, and he's taking money from both sides. Like Apple pays him, Samsung pays him. Like he's getting money from all sides from the phone industrial complex.
And the thrill.
Yes, and he just loves it.
Yeah.
No, he's single-handedly taking down the 5G industrial complex for sure.
Well, I'm exposing the Illuminati next Monday.
I'm
Stay
so excited
tuned.
to hear
Stay
about this.
tuned.
Perturbed Alpaca said, I've been listening, so I haven't seen the hair comparison until now. Both Dane and Mary seem to have seem to be having an amazing hair day, but my boy Dane has the curls, so he wins.
Well, where was your vote, man?
Yeah, it's like this is what happens when people so when people yell at libertarians like you don't have a right to vote, you don't have a right to complain if you don't vote. Like, you better get out there and vote next time.
Joel D. Valdez sent a diamond.
Thank you.
Hypothesis said Sonic had action and animals before it was cool.
See, yeah, but the last thing you want is looking at any of that Sonic fan fiction on Tumblr. Ugh. Don't do it.
No,
don't
never.
do it. It's a bad
Joel
idea.
D. Valdez sent a salt shaker,
Thank you.
another diamond, and another diamond. And
Diamonds
Porco
are
Rosso
forever. Diamonds are forever.
Porco Rosso Forever said, Weird Al's Eminem interview is a cultural milestone.
Dude, Weird Al. Do you guys like Weird Al?
I used to,
Do you
yeah.
guys feel any sort
It's
of
not
way?
my generation,
You don't feel any sort of way about Weird Al?
I feel the same. I feel the same way as I did about '90s Will Smith.
Okay.
He was
Not
like
cool anymore.
He was
Is
an
that what you
era.
think?
See, like the thing is to me is like I think of Weird Al.
But I cling to the cool part.
Since we're talking about wrestling, Weird Al is kind of like a slightly better version of like Mick Foley. Mick Foley was this great man of the people pro wrestler because he didn't look like a professional wrestler. He was overweight, but he was really good at his job. He gave his life to the business. He gave his body to the business by destroying it. But now on Twitter, he's a mega SJW and like, but it fits his like kind of caring personality. But it's like he's like a mixture of like kind of cringy, misinformed, and feminine in the way he like would argue with people or like virtue signal on Twitter. But I think of like Weird Al as like the less infected version of that, where like they're both part of like they were a vibe in their generation.
Yeah.
And Weird Al is slightly, maybe I just don't know as much about Weird Al's Twitter presence.
He's funny as hell.
He's I will always love him for the song "Party in the CIA."
Yeah,
It's
and just eat it.
Yeah, but
he was funny.
And the fact that he performs
I was
the
a
song
child,
"Fat,"
guys.
he has a song called "Fat" to play on "Bad" by Michael Jackson, and he does it in a fat suit.
I just think like music as comedy doesn't hit.
But it's such a thing
Like
now.
Owen Benjamin, when I watch like Owen Benjamin sing songs as comedy, I'm like what is this? Is this some kind of psyop? Like,
but it's
I don't understand. Like,
It's becoming a thing because of TikTok. Like
I don't watch musicals. I don't watch musical comedy.
Yeah,
I don't like it.
it's
Am
like
I a psyop?
there's a video of a girl who like slides into the bathroom mirror and goes, "Tell me why," and somebody turned it.
I hate that
open.
girl. Oh my god! It's just like, hey guys, where to go? She just
But
like
she goes,
slides
"Tell me
in.
why?" And a guy turned that whole line into the song by the Backstreet Boys, "I Want It That Way,"
Oh,
where
yeah, I
they
remember
use that as like the hook, where it just keeps cutting back. But it's the guy performing all of the instruments himself, cut in, and I liked it because it had floaty boxes, and I like floaty boxes in my screens, where like it's like him, but he's like on the screen 6 times playing different instruments, and yeah, and like music is like if there was ever a time for musical comedy, it's kind of now
Dude, that
Why?
because of the internet.
here. Sorry, I'm stuck on the sliding girl. Dude, that girl.
I just think of like Bo Burnham. Like, what are you doing? This is so like fake deep. I can't stand.
Yeah,
that
people
stuff.
people keep posting that interview where Bo
What's wrong
Burnham
with
goes,
him?
where Bo Burnham talks
not
about. He's
funny.
like, why
he's funny.
why would a company make a messaging app where 13-year-olds can make their messages
Yeah.
disappear after 24 hours? And I'm just like, okay,
He's gonna expose the Illuminati.
he's gonna it's like let me guess, he's gonna expose them.
Joel D. Valdez sent a couple more diamonds, and Tacti Platty said Bad Bunny is a new agent acquired by Big Avocado. That is all.
Oh, wow.
Do bunnies like avocados? I wonder. We'd have to
The real
we'd have to ask.
conspiracy is revealed.
See, we need to just write our own conspiracies.
Cool.
That's what we need to do. We need to just make our own here. Yes. Dane, my friend, before you go, do you want to tell everyone about the Illuminati or do you just want to save that for next week?
Guys, so I'm gonna start doing Twitter drops at Dane Font, and now I shall spell that out for you, DANEFONT, and it'll be a prelude to next week on Pop Culture Crisis, where I expose the Illuminati once and for all.
I couldn't be
Perfect.
more excited for it.
You sounded.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like maybe it's not showing, but I'm really
That's about as
excited
excited as
to
Mary
it's really
gets.
not.
expose the Illuminati live on air.
I'm trying to think if I can remember Mary being like excited in one that wasn't like do you what have you been excited about much?
She was absolutely effervescent that day where she first explained about the Twinks putting against the wall and
That
with the
sounds-
cops.
That is a big misrepresentation of what it was.
I feel it's the most accurate representation yet.
They're pretending to get arrested. Okay.
Well, I mean, she got excited because
Anyway.
you were excited because you had no idea what the hell she was talking
I was
about.
excited to introduce you
It's
to.
about the feminine instinct. That's my Mary impression, guys. Clip that.
Mary, let everyone know where they can find you.
Yes, you can find pictures of me on Instagram at Mary Archived. My Twitter as well is Mary Archived. Trying to post more on both of those platforms. It's not easy, guys, but follow me, give me some support.
Get a real job.
Yes.
I mean, I can try.
Get a real job. See, the funny thing is that's
Peace
what people would say to us. They'd say, "Get a real job." And
Get a
like,
real
it's like they
job.
think that there's no work
Grit.
involved. You just show up and do that. So yes, guys, if you want to follow me, you can follow me on Instagram at Brett Dasovic. Before we go, I just wanted to thank you all for joining us today. Before we go, if you want to leave a like on the video, comment on the video, subscribe to the channel if you have not already. Thank you so much for joining us, as always. If you want to follow us for during the week, it is Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is noon Pacific right here on YouTube. If you'd like to listen to the show rather than watch, we are on Amazon Music, Apple Podcast, Pandora, and Spotify. On social media, we are on Twitter at popculture_show. There will be no Twitter leaks or no exposing of the Illuminati by us, but you can follow us there. We are on Are we also on... No, we are also on what else? On Facebook and TikTok at Pop Culture Crisis, and we're on Instagram at Pop Culture Crisis Pod. We'll be back with another episode tomorrow. See you then, guys.
Bye.
Later.